evening, everybody. It is Saturday night here in Manhattan. We are only going to be on for about 1 hour tonight, but I wanted to talk about Wework. And Wework finally came public after a failed IPO attempt 2 years ago. And I think it's appropriate to talk about because they came public via SPAC, or Special Purpose Acquisition Company, which we've been talking a lot about on the streams. Santa Monica Rodriguez, how are you? Soho guy, what's going on, Soho guy? Hope you're well. Sunshine After Rain is here. Happy Saturday, Sunshine After Rain. The ABX girl from the Bronx is here. Sally, what's up, Sally? Hope everybody had a good weekend so far. Everybody's having a good Saturday. The city is absolutely packed today. Very, very packed. A lot of people, so it's good to see everybody back in the city. Ken Kramer is in the chat. Sally, good to see you. Melee says, Tom, good evening. Good evening to you, Melee. Vinny Castellano says, hope all is well. Hope all is well with you too, Vinny. Sally says, nothing much, Tom. RL says, good evening to everybody. Good evening, all. Santa Monica Rodriguez, how are you? Soho, hope you're well. Solo 401 says, what's up, what's up? So everybody, I thought it was interesting last week. Weworks actually went public, and if we remember, yesterday on the stream we were talking about the concept of special purpose acquisition companies, or SPACs, and Wework actually was supposed to go public 2 years ago, in which case the IPO fell through, mainly due in part to its founder Adam Neumann, which essentially ran the company into the ground. So now Adam Neumann is since kicked out of the company. He still maintains about 9% ownership in Wework, but the main guy running the show is my former CEO, Marcelo Claure. So we will talk about that today as we are at the Hudson Yards area. Santa Monica Rodriguez is good. I hope everyone is having a great night. Cheers. Michelle Cunningham says, hi all. RL says, FANG earnings all week. Yes, so next week is going to be absolutely slam-packed with earnings. We have Microsoft. Pretty much all the big heavy hitters in tech are reporting earnings next week. So we do have to be on our game for that. Apple's next week. Microsoft is next week. Photos from around New York. How are you? Hope you're well, Photos. We are here at the Moynihan train station. It's probably about 68 degrees, maybe even colder, 65, 68 degrees tonight. It's a cold fall day in Manhattan as we are here at the Moynihan train station and Madison Square Garden. And I think there's some big event going on in Madison Square Garden. What's up, Photos from around New York? Hope you're well. We are going to be walking up towards Central Park, 57th Street tonight, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have the skateboard. Solo 401 says, gets cold quick in October. Yeah, I think we're at the point in New York where, and there's a massive traffic jam here. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. The cars are piled up. We're at the point where we wake up and it's freezing. Right about lunchtime, it starts to get hot, and then at night it's cold again. So definitely a change in the weather. Photos from around New York is doing well. Thanks. How are you? I'm doing really well. Got a lot of stuff done tonight. Soho guy says, yo, Tom, that Intel chip fab is ahead of schedule, I heard. Yeah, so Intel is building a $20 billion chip foundry in Arizona. And chip earnings actually, they came in mixed. And that's, mainly due to supply chain constraints, and a plethora of factors, but mainly due to the chip shortage and backlogs in the economy and backlogs pretty much in every facet of the economy right now. Solo 401 says, tell them to beat more, it should help. Yeah, I don't know what the big holdup is. I think there's this bay crane that they're assembling up ahead, but it's nuts. Hey, JK is here, says, hey Tom, good evening, Sunshine After Rain. What's up, JK? The ABX girl, what is going on? British Gray says, good Saturday evening, Tom. From Tampa, Florida, good to see you here. We are right outside the Madison Square Garden. Patricia says, hi bro, are you going to Times Square? Not tonight. I think we're going to try to avoid Times Square. I'm not a big Times Square type of guy, honestly. I'm not saying that Times Square is a bad thing. I just am not a big fan of it. Michelle Cunningham says, yes, that chip plant is about 45 minutes from me. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to create a lot of jobs. And I also think, one of the things that I do agree with the Biden administration is that they understand that this chip shortage is actually a national security threat. So I'm glad that they understand that. And look, I'm not a big Biden guy. I didn't vote for him. I pretty much disagree. But I think they got this right. I think that they understand that the chip shortage is very real. And it's a national security threat. So whatever they can do with government subsidies to, advance the process, we need that innovation happening here. So I agree with that. British Grace is good Saturday evening, sunshine after rain. Sunshine after rain is one of our great moderators on the channel. Gene says it's the concert of horns. I'm not sure what that is. Is that a band? The one and only Rhino 305 says, hi Tom, happy Saturday. All that traffic came out to see Wall Street Skate Bro at MSG. That's awesome, Rhino. Thank you so much. Hopefully you're holding down the fort in Miami until I can return. Patricio says, what do you think about Bernie Sanders? I think that Bernie Sanders was robbed of the election by Hillary Clinton. And I'm not a big fan of Bernie Sanders at all. I think we are the polar opposites. However, I think he probably should have been the Democratic nominee. But he was robbed. Photos from around New York says the microchip issue continues. Production of microchips or semiconductors. Look, I think it's a twofold issue, right? I think it's a twofold issue. And I think the biggest overarching issue, and it's not really an issue, it's just demand, right? So all of the new technologies and all of the new innovation that just so happens to be rolling out over the next decade is very semiconductor chip intensive. You think about AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, electric vehicles, autonomous driving, 5G. They all require these chip and semiconductors. RJ says, hola from Colorado. Tom, hope you're well. Hope you're well too, RJ. Quan says, Tom, what is your opinion on chicken gordita crunch? Thumbs down. Daryl says, hello from Chicago, Illinois. Robert Parker says, hey Tom. What's going on, Robert Parker? Gene says, Wall Street Skate Bro, hope you're having a good evening. Soho guy says, yo Tom, I think that chip fab has an ability to meet 60% of US domestic needs. Well, I hope so. I would hope so. So Taiwan Semiconductor actually just came out and announced that they're building a new factory in Japan to diversify their assets. Or else is FDNY heroes. Indeed, shout out to the FDNY. Here's another FDNY truck right here. Engine 1 Midtown. Great guys at the FDNY. Love the FDNY. Ladder 24. I always like the artwork on the top of the FDNY. You see that? That's awesome. I'll zoom in on that. I always love seeing that. Ladder 24 FDNY. Say no more. Did you stream in Brooklyn today? I did not. I did not. I got caught up. Hey, Robert Parker says the color of the Empire State Building was actually pink in observance of Breast Cancer Awareness Week. My job was also wearing pink. That's awesome, Robert. I can get behind that. Hey, Brian is here. PDZ says, hola from Melbourne, Australia. I'm busy watching the EDC stream, Las Vegas, and this. Awesome, man. What is the gas price out there? I'm actually not sure because I don't drive. But I think it's probably over $3 a gallon. I mean, if anybody else wants to chime in, I don't drive, but When I was down in Miami, Florida, it was like 316, I think, 319. Kilo Whiskey Juliet says hello there, Tom. What's up, Kilo Whiskey Juliet? Always good to see you here. We are behind Madison Square Garden. Seal Bear is here. Manny Test. Seal Bear says hi, Tom. Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Thank you. You as well, Seal Bear. Alice says good evening, Tom, and everybody in the chat. Alice, good to see you. Soho says, yo, Tom, I hope Google makes their own chip someday. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. And I think that's been a topic of discussion, but I do not think that Google will get into that business. Stevens has got to get some halal on 53rd and 6th Avenue. So I believe the best halal place in the city, in my opinion, is called Adele's Famous. Maya says, hi, Tom, been watching. Daryl says it's about $5 a gallon in Chicago. That's insanity. Is it really, Daryl? That's crazy. Manny Test, what is up? PDZ. Brian says, hi, Wall Street Skate Bro. What is up, Brian? Gene says, Wall Street Skate Bro, busy moving today. No, I just had to get a lot of my stuff in order today. Had to get a lot of stuff in order. Wow, Razzle Dazzle is our MRI technologist. Says it's $4.50 in San Francisco. That is crazy. I've never seen gas like that in my life. I've never seen gas prices that high in my life. Looks like this guy is blasting through the red light. Always good. Always a good time to blow the red lights. Hey, watch this TV, says Wall Street Skate Bro. Cali, $5.95 a gallon. My God. It looks like you guys in Cali, you guys and girls in Cali need to break out the skateboard to save some money. It's not that crazy here in New York. I mean, that is wild. Maya says, you start so late live. How was your day? My day was very good. Very productive. Trying to after rain, says Tom, I hope you had a wonderful day. Likewise. 05's from Corpus Christi, Texas is Hola Amigo, $2.98 here in Corpus Christi. That's actually really good, man. That's actually really good. So it looks like the two worst are Chicago and Cali. Almost $5. Steven says, honestly, the best halal food is in Queens, New York, 125th Street and Liberty Avenue, says Steve. Richmond Hills, Queens, halal food. I'm gonna have to try that out. Michelle Cunningham says $3.20 a gallon here in Phoenix. Gene says he blew a red light in front of the police. Wow. Rob Hill says, LOL, break out the skateboard. LAC says, what's your opinion on the LaGuardia train getting canceled? I think it's a big mistake. I think they need to build some sort of air train like they have from JFK to Jamaica Station. I think it's a big mistake. Lee says gas prices are at a 7-year high, with one California town reaching a whopping $7.59 a gallon. I just wouldn't drive if that's the case. That is insane. Hey, Lena Sandoval is here. Happy Saturday, Lena. Always a pleasure to have you here. It's a busy night here in Manhattan. I've never seen the traffic this bad ever since the pandemic. Doug says, hello, Tom and everybody. What's up, Doug? Hope you're well. Rob Hill is here. Steven says $3.29 a gallon of gas here in Orlando, Florida. Peter says $3.89 in New York City. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That is insane. Swing Boxes says, hello, Tom and everybody. Swing Boxes, how are you? Dino, New Jersey says, when will you be live in Miami again? On Monday. So I am flying out of New York on Monday, and I will be back in Miami. But everybody, we've been talking about this for a while. So if you want to follow crude oil futures, the ticker symbol for the crude oil futures contract is CL. CL exclamation point. And I am in concurrence, and I agree with Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase about their $100 crude oil price target. I really do think that crude oil will reach $100. Midnight News says, tell the people to maintain 6 feet apart. No. Penelope says, you guys are killing me with the food talk. What's up, Penelope? From Tennessee. Hope you're well. Swing Boxes, good to see you. Penelope, good to see you. Brandy says, hey, Tom, good to see you. Sunshine, New York says, hello, Tom. Checking in to say hello. Stay safe out there. Thank you, Sunshine, New York. Hopefully you got a chance to relax today. I know you had a very, very busy week. LAC says, are you a subway, train, city, or a car person? I'm a skateboard person. I don't really take the subways and I don't really take a car. I usually skateboard or bike around the city. Robert says, is there a Rangers game or basketball game at MSG? So I believe on Friday, the New York Rangers played the... But today, I think it's some sort of concert. I don't think it's a sporting event. Dino, New Jersey says the Rangers game was this afternoon. I didn't know that there was a Rangers game tonight. I did not know that. Queens Flushing is pretty quiet today. Flushing is one of my favorite parts in New York City. If you guys want really good Chinese food, actually Flushing, Queens is the largest Chinatown in New York. So very good. But Dino, New Jersey, good to see you. The one and only Mark Davis from Toronto, Canada says, good evening there, Tom. Hope all is well with you. Hello from Toronto. What's up, Mark? So Mark, I actually did get your email. Give me a couple days to look it over, but a lot of the, I took a quick glance over it and it was very good. So Mark Davis is from Toronto, Canada, and he specializes in the medical marijuana and the medical cannabis space. So one of these days we will have to get him on the show to talk about the breakthroughs, the clinical breakthroughs of medical marijuana. Hello everybody, says OTKIR. The Swan says, hi skateboarder. Diana Lee says, sky is amazing. How are you, Diana Lee? Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. Penelope says, I'm good, dreaming of some good New York City street food right now. AI says, hello, AI, long time no see, my friend. Good to have you here. Always a pleasure. Robert Parker says, you will know when you see everyone wearing Rangers jerseys. Roy S says, hi, Tom and all mods, wishing you well. Okay, Dino says the Rangers game was away. It was not at MSG. Yeah, so I think the reason why it's so crowded tonight at MSG, I believe there's some sort of concert going on. I'm just not sure what. Destructionist says, oh, Destructionist is here. What is going on? Patricio, Long Island, New York. MTR says, greetings, Tom. What is up, MTR? So MTR, usually we don't have a specific topic on the weekends. We usually just walk around the city. But yesterday we were talking a lot about special purpose acquisition companies, or SPACs. And one of which that actually just went public last week is a company called Wework. And the reason why Wework is so interesting is because my former CEO, Marcelo Claure, he was my former CEO. Now he's the executive chairman at SoftBank. And SoftBank has a controlling majority interest in Wework. And they actually just went public via special purpose acquisition company with Boex Acquisition Corp. And if you guys remember, 2 years ago, Wework was the most hyped up, crazy valuation IPO. And the whole thing fell through due to the former CEO of the company, Adam Neumann. And Adam Neumann essentially ran the company into the ground. And in my opinion, I believe he manipulated Masayoshi Son, which is the chairman and founder of SoftBank Group. And SoftBank is a Japanese conglomerate that invests in many unicorn tech companies. So I'm very optimistic on Wework. I think it's still a little bit of a frothy valuation right here at $9 billion. However, I will say this. My experiences dealing with Marcelo Claure, he is an absolute fantastic leader. He was my former CEO, and I think he's going to do a great job running this company. And I think the global pandemic actually plays right into the benefit of a hybrid work environment. So I think Wework is actually going to do exceptionally well over the next 5 years. So this is going to be one to watch. And usually, I talk about on the channel that I'm very, very skeptical of SPACs, and I usually stay away from them. So let's let a couple earnings reports roll through here for Wework. We'll keep on top of it, but I do believe that this company will be very, very profitable down the road. Diana Lee, good to see you. Omar K says, evening, everybody. Dog Pound 1 is here. Photos from around New York says Wework at $9 billion. Whoa, really? Yeah, I mean, SoftBank trusted Adam Newman, the former CEO, with over $10 billion. Joey David says TD Bank is from Canada. It stands for Toronto Dominion Bank. That's awesome. Love the Canadians. Photos from around New York is here. AI says, I've been watching while on travel to North Carolina, but unable to join the chat. Hope all is well. The ABX girl says, there was a street festival in Chelsea earlier. Clubs are opening again, and Phantom of the Opera open tonight. That's fantastic news. Dog Pound says there was a Meek Mill concert at MSG tonight. You know, so I did see something about that. I think I saw a Meek Mill poster. Satish says company job available. Joey says, hi Tom, what's up Joey? Great Walk says, what a week, I can finally watch your live stream. Great Walk, how are you? Jordan LeBeau says, hey Tom, happy you're live streaming tonight. Thank you, Jordan. Swing Boxes says, happy Saturday. Hope all is well. Jetstar says, nice to be with you tonight, Tom. Nice to be with you too as well. Quan says the Canadians are okay. So tonight we're gonna go over to Fifth Avenue and then we're gonna walk uptown near Billionaires Row, Central Park. We haven't been there in a long time. Roy S says, Tom, fun short footage of the LIRR last night. Thank you, Roy S. Out and About is here from Toronto, Canada. Always a good pal. Out and About. Millo Girl 02 says, is this really live? Yes, this is live. We are live here in Koreatown now. Well, almost in Koreatown, West 32nd Street. If we keep going one avenue over, we will be right in Koreatown. Omar K, good to see you. Mark Davis says, Tom, when are you headed back to Miami? So my flight back to Miami is Monday morning at around 9 o'clock. So I will be live. I mean, I should be live Monday night in Miami, but we'll see. So the thing that's funny is I actually have to go back to New York. I have to go back to New York on Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, I have a business meeting here in Midtown Manhattan. So I'm gonna fly in early Wednesday morning and then fly out right after my meeting. So I'm gonna be back in Miami, North Miami Beach. I'm gonna be back in Miami, North Miami Beach Monday night, fly in to New York City again Wednesday morning, and then fly right back out after my meeting. So it's gonna be very, very busy. Marty Lewis is here, says hello everybody. What's up, Marty Lewis? Sally says, beautiful night, Tom. Sally, I hope you're enjoying your weekend so far. Welcome everybody. The Swan says, I don't like New York City when the streets are empty. Well, I think things are coming back this Swan because due to the pandemic. I think a lot more people are coming back. Any cool show to watch on Netflix or Amazon? I'm watching How I Met Your Mother. It's kind of funny. So I think what gave Netflix earnings a big boost was this show called Squid Game, and it's actually a South Korean show that is on Netflix, and it is a huge hit. And I believe they said over 142 million people have tuned in to watch this show Squid Game on Netflix. I don't have a Netflix account, I've never seen it, but everybody's talking about it. And as I wrote about in the Behind the Street newsletter on Sunday, I said I believe this particular show is going to give a big boost to Netflix's earnings in terms of their subscriber growth. And that was right. And Netflix posted a very good quarter. Photos from around New York says red light. Ren 10 says, what's the temperature there? The temperature is probably right about 65 to 68 degrees. Matt Bob says, you're going to rack up some frequent flyer miles. Let's hope so. And Joyce Carter says, evening everybody. Maya says, crazy week for you. Hope your week goes as planned as well. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. Diana Lisa sounds like a bungee cord. Robert Parker says, let's see what Robert Parker said. Robert Parker, I just lost your comment, my friend. Anna says, hi Tom, did you ship all your stuff to Florida? Have a great evening. Tomorrow, Anna, I'm gonna ship all my stuff to Florida. Joyce Carter, how are you? The Swan says, I don't like New York City when the streets are empty, but crowded like this is really nice. Sally says, beautiful night, Tom. Marty Lewis is here. How are you? What's with the lawsuit between Macy's and Amazon as reported by Action Kid? I'm not familiar with that, actually, Robert Parker. Diana Lisa sounds like a bungee cord. Sunshine After Rain says, you on Netflix. So I actually have seen that show before, Sunshine After Rain. The You show is really, really crazy. Talk about a bizarre show. I believe it's on season 3 now, but that's actually the only show on Netflix I've ever seen. MTR says, love Macy's. The Swan says, 13 degrees Celsius, very nice weather. Gia H says, what do you do that you have to travel? I am in enterprise tech sales. So meeting with clients, trying to close deals, contract extensions, contract negotiations, and the like. Martin says, what's up, man? How are you, Martin? Good to see you. Joyce Carter says, I sometimes watch Friends if it's a great episode. The ABX girl says, in Halloween sales, especially Vans sneakers, they wear on the shows. Very cool. Quant says, Tom, you can use my Netflix account. Thank you, Quant. I appreciate it. Ren10, how are you? Out and About says, Chicago Med, Chicago PT, Chicago Fire. I love those shows. Dog Pound 1 says, Wall Street Scaper. I also recommend Narcos on Netflix, says Dog Pound. Aran says, hello, good night. ABX Girl says, Amazon wants to place an ad on Macy's property. Interesting. Do you think Trump has a second chance in 2024? I'm not going to comment on that because it's going to set off a spectacle in the comment section. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Morgan GA says, hey, Tom, what's the weather like right now? LOL, nuts. It's probably about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a very nice night. Hello, everybody from Brazil. What is up, everybody from Brazil? Joyce Carter says, someone else said that. Tom would say what? Joyce Carter, good to see you. Michelle McGraw is here, says, hey, Tom, I didn't realize you were on. Didn't get the notification. Michelle, I hope you're having a great, fantastic weekend. Gina 8 says, you are a fabulous life. You have a fabulous life. Truly lucky. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I definitely am lucky being from New York, 100%. I think it's the greatest city on earth. MTR says, Tom, what is an arbitrage? So arbitrage, you can actually find arbitrage opportunities really in anything in everyday life. Essentially, it is buying in terms of products, right? Garage sale, and I buy a pair of Nike sneakers for $10. And then across town, I could go and sell those Nike sneakers, the same pair of Nike sneakers for $15. That's an arbitrage opportunity there. So the same product, the same quality, the same build, with two different prices across the marketplace. So sometimes in the financial marketplace, there's arbitrage opportunities in currencies, in the bond market. But I think the biggest arbitrage opportunities that exist right now in terms of financial markets would probably have to be in the cryptocurrency markets, because on some exchanges the spot price of Bitcoin trades at significantly different levels. So let's say if you buy Bitcoin on one exchange and sell it on another for a higher price, that would be called an arbitrage type opportunity. So very good question. Gene says, yes, Trump does. He brought back a near dead US economy pre-pandemic, says Gene. Michelle McGraw, I hope you're having a great day. Joyce Carter says, nice to see you too, Tom. Joyce, always good to have you here. Fantastic to have you here. Martin Salvetti, how are you? Marty Lewis says, that red Macy's sign with the star may become Amazon advertising. I didn't know that Macy's didn't own it. I didn't know either. That is crazy. I hope Amazon doesn't take that over, because this is such an iconic sign in New York. Matt Bob says, what area of tech sales are you in? No worries if you don't want to disclose. So right now, I mainly sell MDM software. So MDM is like a mobile device manager. with like bundled with cybersecurity sales. So for me, right now I branched off to try to start a tech consulting company, like a very small tech consulting company, where before my expertise was going into home healthcare agencies or nursing homes or hospitals in New York, and I would actually sell an EVV product, so an electronic visit verification product. So what we would do is we would bundle a traditional, let's say a smartphone or a tablet. We would lock it down with some sort of MDM provider, whether that be like an AirWatch or a VMware Workspace ONE, a Samsung Knox, CodeProof, Scale Fusion. So we would lock it down to create the HIPAA compliance aspect of it. So God forbid one of these devices were lost in the field, you could go back into the cloud portal and remote wipe all of these devices to make sure it's secure. And then what we would do is we would go around to all of the major EVV providers, like the electronic visit verification providers, and bundle a software product to these home healthcare agencies so that the home health aides could clock in and out remotely, securely on their mobile devices, as well as administer different medications remotely and things like that, and check off all of their job duties. So that is sort of the tech industry I was at. So the majority of my clients right now remain all the major home healthcare agencies in New York, the hospitals, like New York Pres and the like. Because I think you got to understand something. Hospitals and healthcare in America is actually the industry that has been the slowest to adapt to change to the cloud. And that has mainly been for compliance reasons. So if anybody on this, I guess you could call it the podcast, the live stream, works in the healthcare space, you know all of the rules, regulations, and compliance that you have to deal with. So in order for you to sell some sort of software to any one of these medical companies or home healthcare agencies or hospitals, you need to make sure it's within compliance. Because if you sell a product that is not within regulatory compliance, these companies can get fined a lot of money. So we were actually right outside of the Empire State Building on 34th Street. Patricio says, do you think Ubuntu can be as good as Windows in the future? I'm not sure. MTR says, cuties, what is up, MTR? The Swan says, there's a lot here, that's why the comments are fast. Ren10 says, Jamf for the win. Yeah, so Jamf is like an MDM, but I believe it's for Apple products. So we've worked with the teams over at Jamf a long time. They are mainly a big MDM for Apple products. Joyce Carter says, strange incident wasn't that Alec Baldwin was on set. Martine says, I'm a network engineer, but feel like shifting to finance industry, not sure though. Yeah, I mean, I think what you're seeing now, like a lot of my buddies that work on Wall Street are going into the tech industry, and a lot of my friends who were, big enterprise software people are actually going into investment banking. It's a little weird, but Martine, very cool. Network engineering is awesome. Let's see. Ren10 says, Jamf for the win. Robert says, have you been to the Vanderbilt Tower at Grand Central yet? No, I have not. Maybe next year we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that next year, Robert. Hey, Fresh Start says, hi, Tom. Comments are fast all the time. Ren10 says, Tom, what's it better to buy crypto or buy crypto exchange Coinbase like with gold, better to sell shovels and picks? Yeah, I get that. I think it just depends on your risk tolerance and your risk profile. I would probably rather own the underlying asset, in my opinion. But I do see, I think like a Gemini or a Coinbase will probably be like a Charles Schwab. Marilyn Ringel says, join me and hit the like button for Tom. Thank you, Marilyn. Hope you're well. Irish Green says, Amazon takes over everything, it seems. It does seem like that. It really does. Fresh Start says, hi, Tom. How are you? Joyce says, learning online is like a whole new way to think. Do you think so? I do think so. Yashora says, beautiful night for studying. Good luck with your studying. Marty Lewis says, the economy was not dead when Trump took office, as Marty Lewis. Matt Bob says, what area of tech sales are you? Oh yeah, we already answered that one. But Matt Bob, hope you're well. Two Wheel Pines says, what's up, Tom? What is up, Two Wheel Pines? We are right outside the Empire State Building. Penelope says, well, there is an old school thought that you don't want anything stored for liability reasons. Yeah, but I think now cloud is probably more secure for healthcare. You know, you don't want physical papers lying around all over the place. Max says, hi, Tom. Max says, hi, Tom. Hi, everybody. What is going on? Sign says, your view on solar energy. Big bull on solar. So everybody, this is the Empire State Building. We are directly under the Empire State Building. Looks kind of cool from this perspective. Zap Allen is in the house. Says, hi, Tom. What's up, Zap Allen? Joyce Carter says, tech industry, Silicon Valley. Patricia says, New York looks empty for a Saturday night, question mark. I think it's about average. I think the crowds are about average for a Saturday night, I think. Tom, you up on the Empire State Building, says Fresh Start. Yes, we are. Fresh Start, happy Saturday. Kim Grant says, hi from Arizona. Kim, we were just talking about Intel, that they announced on their earnings call that they were investing $20 billion into a chip foundry in Arizona. Sunshine After Rain says, Tom, I work in healthcare, and those apps are so brilliant. It makes work so much easier to provide care to clients. Yeah, Sunshine After Rain. So I think you were absolutely spot on. And for me, I got so lucky, right? Because I was very young at the time. I was still in college when I got lucky enough to get a job selling these products. And at the time, this was probably 2017, late 2017. So this was when the healthcare industry was just starting to make the transition from physical hardware, not physical hardware, like physical paper and reporting to software. So I hit the industry at the perfect time, and business was absolutely rocking. I mean, good times. And we did a lot of, that's one thing about work that I take pride in. I want to make sure I'm doing something that's helping somebody. So to streamline processes in the healthcare sector, it's very, very good, because when you take all of that time away from doing tedious desk work, the healthcare professionals can spend more time attending and caring for patients. So I think it's phenomenal what we did. It's phenomenal what we did. Kenneth says, Tom, back here to watch your stream. Dude, your camera quality is crystal clear compared to others. Wow. Hey, Kenneth, thank you, man. Always good to have you here, Kenneth. Zola de Alea says, please watch. Joyce says, we are right outside the Empire State Building. Yes, we are, Joyce. Two Wheel Pine says, do you think you will ever miss New York while you're in Miami, or will you go back and forth enough to not miss it? I think I'm going to be back and forth enough to not care. Ren10 says, did you move back to New York City that fast? Says YouTuber. I did. I sold the house, I dumped Miami, and now I'm back in New York. Disney cast members has found a company to buy my home in Arizona. It's going to be much easier. Can't wait to get out of Arizona. Well, Disney cast member, congratulations on the sale of your house. That's fantastic. Derek Teeple says, new subscriber, glad to join. Hey, thank you so much. We're happy to have you here. So Disney cast member is a good pal of the channel. She's a fellow Long Islander like myself, so we're happy to have her here. The Mighty Bull, the one and only, says, good evening, Tom. Good to see you. What's up, Mighty Bull? Talvish says, Wall Street Skate Bro. Hey, man, how are you? We're doing very good. Gene says, Marty Lewis, Tom is smart enough about the economy to not agree with you. So would a lot of Americans who lost their jobs that were sent overseas during the Obama-Biden years, no disrespect intended. Yeah, I mean, I don't really mind if people have differing opinions. I mean, I'm wrong about a lot of things. Everybody's welcome here. Republican, Democrats, Independents, capitalists, communists. We're all here to get along and share our opinions. So absolutely. Joyce says, it's great to be here, Tom. No problem, Joyce. Kim Grant says, Disney cast member, I can't blame you for getting out. Where are you going to? I would definitely be interested to see where you're going to as well, Disney. Watch Disney cast members surprise everybody and come back to New York. Hey, Matt says, hi from England. What is going on from England, everybody? Let's see if I missed any comments. Fresh Start says, Tom, can we see a full view of the Empire State Building from 5th Avenue? Fresh Start, here you go. I mean, I'm not sure. This is a pretty full view. We're standing right on the corner of 34th Street and Fifth Avenue right here. The Mighty Bull says, greetings to all moderators. Bilal says, Sinatra used to take cabs with cigars in his mouth. Very cool. Big fan of Frank Sinatra. Disney cast member says, I'm narrowed it down to a home in New York, Maine, or Bennington, Vermont. Very cool. Patricio, I'm not interested in your question, pal. Derek says, your streams are. What's up, Derek? Photos from around New York says, hello, Mighty. Anna Andrews says, you are quite the diplomat. You rock, Tom. What's up, Anna? Red Goose says, what kind of phone are you using? The quality is excellent. Is that an add-on moment lens? No, this is an iPhone 11. iPhone 11. Derek says, your streams are very site-worthy and educational. Thank you so much. So we'll continue to walk up Fifth Avenue. We're here on the corner of Fifth Avenue and 34th Street. So Derek, I appreciate you being here. Fresh Starts is the Empire State Building celebrating another holiday. So everybody, you know what I want to walk past? We're going to walk past Radio City Music Hall. They already have the Christmas tree up. Can you believe that? Disney cast member says it basically depends upon which home I get snagged before they sell. Photos from around New York says, by the way, red light is a reference to Squid Games. Louis Leon says, Tom, God bless you and continue to do what you do. Louis, right back at you, man. Kenneth says, Tom, by the way, love your YouTube shorts. You have some great shots and short videos, man. Hey, thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate that. Hey, Steve Blades is here. What's up, Steve? All right, guys, so we're going to continue our way up Fifth Avenue here. And actually, you could see the very top of the One Vanderbilt building. So they just opened the observation deck on top of One Vanderbilt. It's supposed to be absolutely phenomenal. We'll have to check it out next year. Hey, it's Bezita Lopez. Bezita Lopez, how are you? T and Me TV says, good evening. Just got home from performing at the Grand Ole Opry with Carrie Underwood and tuned in. That is freaking unbelievable. T and Me TV. Crazy. Fantastic. Love that. Thomas says, hey, Tom, good evening. The Swan says, love the color of the Empire State Building. Same color as my front door and windows. Awesome, Swan. MTR says, love Christmas show with the Rockettes. I love that show, too. It's the Rockefeller Rockettes Christmas Spectacular put on by Chase. Two Wheel Pine says, didn't even know you had shorts. I got to show some support and to those now. Yeah, I have a couple up. Two Wheel Pines, appreciate you. Troy 1995, what's going on, Troy 1995? Penelope says, it's funny, people always ask what camera you are using. The key is with the gimbal. Yes, so everybody, usually on Saturdays, as you know, we don't have a specific topic in relation to finance. However, I do want to touch upon really quick, because yesterday we were talking about SPACs, or special purpose acquisition companies. And if you remember, 2 years ago, one of the most anticipated IPOs or initial public offerings was going to be Wework. And Wework is essentially, you could think about it like an Uber for office sharing. And the CEO and founder was Adam Neumann. And Adam Neumann essentially ran the company into the ground by going on extravagant vacations and just really not doing the appropriate things that CEOs should be doing, spending way too much money. He was taking private jets and supposedly, allegedly taking money that was supposed to be invested in the company and using it for his own personal dime. And my former CEO, so the person that I worked for, Marcelo Claure, back in 2017, he was my CEO. Now he is with SoftBank. He's the executive chairman at SoftBank. So he is now the CEO of Wework. And they just went public last week via SPAC, so Special Purpose Acquisition Company with Boax Acquisition Corp. And Marcelo is a fantastic guy. He is an absolute pioneer in the industry. He was the creator of Brightstar Group, in which he sold it to Sprint, I believe, for over $1 billion. So I think Marcelo is going to run this company like a tight ship. So let's watch Wework, ticker symbol WE. However, you guys know I will never buy a new company that is only a year on the market. So let's watch how some of these earnings reports trickle out. I really want to see at least 3 to 4 beat and raise quarters from Wework before thinking about making an investment. So Wework is one to watch. I think it's more relatively valued now than before because essentially Adam Neumann, you know, I think he's a good visionary, but they just expanded way too fast and he pretty much squandered all the money. But now that Masa-san with SoftBank is a Japanese conglomerate, and Marcelo is in the sort of the driver's seat, I think it's going to be a very prosperous company for sure. Joyce says Wework a different type of work environment. Yeah, and especially I think the environment we're in is playing right into WeWork's hands. And what do I mean by that? I don't think that big corporations are going to sign multi-year leases anymore. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be more of a hybrid work environment where people come to the office maybe once or twice a week. And I think office sharing spaces like WeWork are going to be extremely, extremely beneficial in the next coming decade. So I'm bullish WeWork long term, but we will definitely keep our eye on it. The Swan says, skateboarder, your voice sounds refreshed. You badly needed a rest. Thank you, The Swan. I appreciate that. I have been working, pushing myself a little bit too hard. Destructionist says, happy Saturday. Did you make it to the financial district yet, Tom? I have not. Let's do that tomorrow for sure. Cat, wait to strike. MTR says, what's going to happen to all of that freight, shipping, and cargo ships? Well, I was watching a piece on YouTube. I don't watch Fox News or CNN or any of the mainstream outlets, but I was watching a clip of the Tucker Carlson show where he had Ron DeSantis on. And Ron DeSantis is opening up all of the ports of Miami 24/7, 365 to help alleviate some of that pressure coming into California. Zap Allen says, I only go into my office 3 times a week, only for a few hours a day. See, Zap Allen? I mean, Zap Allen's got it. Noran Dujan says, hello from France. What is up, everybody from France? I hope you are well. All of our French viewers. Cupcakes by Melissa. Adia Tree says, Troy 1995 says, using my man Masayoshi Son's money. Yes. So Masa-san, you could think about SoftBank, the big Japanese conglomerate that invests into many of the unicorns. So I think one of their, well, what is going to be one of their best investments that's going to pay off is a company called Coupang out of Korea. So we'll talk about that one a little bit later. But I could spend hours talking about SoftBank. But my former CEO was Marcelo. James says, try to cut my work hours from 40 to 30. Wish me luck. I think you're going to do it. Peace Ghost is here. Says, what's up, bro? What's up, Peace Ghost? Daryl says, Action Kid just finished his live stream now, Tom. I think Action Kid was in Queens. Is that right, Daryl? Two Wheel Pine says, after your stream, I'm checking out that Born Rich documentary, given I could stay awake that long. It's a very good documentary. Christian says, good evening, Tommy Boy, Wall Street Skate Bro. Cheers to the weekend. Indeed, Christian. Kelwin says, hi, Tom. Inquay says, bye. The Mighty Bull says, watching and listening. Destruction is good to see you here. Always good to see you. Fresh Start says, Tom, Central Park is coming up. Girl Loves Hemp says, that company I work for is out of Binghamton. Very cool. War Walker says, he's on the Young and the Restless, right? I'm not sure. Enrique says, good evening. What's up, Enrique? Robert Parker says, when did they put the tree up? I was in Rockefeller Center today, didn't see anything. No, I'm talking about the tree that's on top of the Radio City Music Hall. Derek says, I'm from Binghamton, upstate New York. A lot of students that go to Binghamton University are from Long Island like yourself. Yeah, Binghamton's a great school. Binghamton's a great little town in upstate New York. Big fan of upstate. Hope everybody's well. So shout out to all of our viewers in Binghamton. MB, the one and only, says, good evening, Tom. Just popping in to say hi. Thank you. Derek says, you did miss my last comment about Binghamton. I just got to that one. Marilyn says, great channel with smart viewers. Marilyn Ringle, thank you so much for watching. It's happy to have you here. War Walker, our pal from Miami. DN says, Action Kid just signed off from Queens. What is up, Action Kid? Hope you're well. Tommy Boy is actually a good movie, says James Brumley. Good to see you, James. Sally says, nice view, Tom. It was raining earlier. It was. So I think Disney cast members, I forget, who was it, Disney cast member? It wasn't your son, it was your nephew is a big model here. So Disney cast member's nephew, and correct me if I'm wrong, Disney cast member, I apologize, but is a big famous model on these billboards here. So check him out. YouTuber says, with all due respect, Wework is a joke and their business model is nothing worth investing in. Very interesting take, YouTuber, and I think a lot of people share your same views. So YouTuber, I was actually, funny story, I was actually in the office here at 1166 on 45th Street, and in comes Marcelo and in comes Adam Newman. And they go into a conference room adjacent from mine, and they were going at it hard. And this was during the time where the Wework IPO was falling apart. Because at the time, Marcelo had stepped down from CEO at Sprint, but he was still on the board of directors at Sprint because at the time, SoftBank owned a majority stake in Sprint, in which case they merged that during the M&A activity with T-Mobile, with not with British Telecom, Deutsche Telekom. And at 1166 Avenue of the Americas, the Sprint offices, the Sprint corporate offices were all laid out like a WeWork. So it was absolutely beautiful. So I was in the office with Adam Newman and Marcelo, and they were furious at each other. And that was when the negotiations were going down, where Marcelo was trying to, force Adam Newman to step down after their IPO went absolutely implosion city. So YouTuber, I think you share a good viewpoint that a lot of other people do. A lot of other people share that viewpoint, but I think now that they're public, and Marcelo is a very, very good CEO. He created Brightstar and sold it to Sprint for I believe over $1 billion. So I have a lot of respect for Marcelo. I have a lot of respect for Masa-san. And I think that company is going to do just fine. And they should be profitable within the next couple of years here. That's my take, but I definitely do appreciate your take as well. And it is well noted that that company was run in absolute muck. Bottomless Coffee says, Wework documentary on Hulu is great. DN says, you would enjoy a walk through Dyker Heights in Brooklyn. It's all decorated Halloween. Very nice. Thank you for the tip, DN. Patricia's, Tom, I hate the city where I live. What can I do? You can get up and move. Thiago says, good evening, New York. Joyce Carter says, Disney cast member. That's a real type of job. Gene says, Marty Lewis would tell you different. Quan says, right in the office, they can't get a hotel room. Two Wheel Pine says, you have a pretty good memory with everything between doing all the day-to-day work and the YouTube streams. Thank you. Bottomless Coffee says, unsure about investing, but it's a great office space startup. MTR says, SEC is a joke. Bernie Madoff made off with everybody's money. Marilyn Ringle says, what is your favorite source of business news? Investors Business Daily, IBD. That is my favorite source of business news. YouTuber says, it would be one thing if they own the properties they rent, but they were subleasing. That's insane to me. Yeah, YouTuber, I actually think that's probably a better way to do it, in my opinion. I actually wouldn't want to have that risk of owning those properties. I would actually rather do the subleasing model. But look, like I said, I think you're making some pretty good points, YouTuber. So what I want to do is I want to see at least 3 to 4 earnings reports roll out before I'd even think about touching the stock, right? Because it was the worst failure of an IPO in modern finance, in my opinion. The worst failure was Wework. But now, with new management, and there's a lot to be said for new management. So let's wait a year, Let's see what their revenue projections are going to be, and then we will reevaluate. War Walker says that was Judge Judy would say too. That's what Judge Judy would say as well, Tom. Hey, Brittany McMurdy says, hey, Tom, I'm a little late, but good evening. Brittany, how are you? Always good to see you, Brittany. Joyce Carter says, Halloween live stream would be great. Tom's going to make it happen. Quan says, my friend got fired from Wework with the years-long compensation package, no money lost for him. Yeah, they were throwing money at people back then. That was wild. Hey, L the Original says, hi, Tom, you're back in New York City. We are, L. Good to see you. Good to see you, L. Troy 1995 says, you can make easy $1 million if you record it and sell the tape. Bottomless Coffee says, Wework documentary is on Hulu. So we're looking at the Bank of America Tower here. But Bottomless Coffee, it's good to see you here. Very good to see you here, Bottomless Coffee. Brooklyn Girl says, hey, Tom, hope you're well. Hey, Brooklyn Girl, I wish the same for you. We are here outside the Steven Schwartzman building. Steven Schwartzman building. And one of the viewers of this channel, Ibidda's father actually worked directly for Steven Schwartzman. And we talk a lot about it on the channel. Steven Schwartzman made the majority of his money in LBOs. And LBO is an acronym for leveraged buyout. Elizabeth says, hi, Tom, how are you? I'm doing very well. Penelope says, Two Wheel Pines, Tom's memory like an elephant. Lisa says, what is the white building? This is the Steven Schwartzman building, the public library. Marty Lewis says, Gene, this is not the place. Thos moderator told me that. I think we're all just chilling, guys. No problem. MTR says, Airbnb's business model for commercial realty, says MTR. N4Me says, hey there, third night in a row. Good to see you, man. Good to see you as well. Daryl says, Action Kid did 3 hours and 20-minute live stream today from Astoria, Queens. Wow, that must have been awesome. I was actually in the live stream for a little bit. I was checking it out. Mighty Mole says, where are the Eponese? DN, how are you? Sabrina Fair says, Tom, howdy, good evening. JM says, what qualities does Marcelo have that makes you confident in him steering Wework in the right direction? So I really liked his leadership when he was my CEO. And if you just look at his track record, I mean, he's built businesses. Do a little bit of research from on Marcelo. He went to Bentley University, and Marcelo built a company, Brightstar, from literally nothing. This guy is a serial entrepreneur, Marcelo Claret. I have a lot of respect for him. He was a great CEO. I had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times. He built a great compensation package for the account executives. We made a lot of money under Marcelo. I respected him a lot. And I'm just very impressed by the way he built up Brightstar to over $3 billion in revenue from his dorm room. You know, he's just a serial entrepreneur. He's a great guy. He's a trustworthy guy. He's always ethical. So I'm very, very happy and pleased that Adam Newman is no longer running Wework, and Marcelo is now head at the reins. And Marcelo is the chief operating officer at SoftBank, and it is Wework's largest investor, SoftBank. Sabrina says, what are some great charities to leave an estate to? Any ideas? I actually don't have any ideas on that. Maybe a children's hospital. Kumar says, hey, I'm from India. Love India on the channel. Hope everybody's well in India. Shari says, hey, Tom, aren't you tired? You work 24/7. I am a little bit tired, but we got to power through. We got to bang this out. We're doing it big, and I'm very happy with what I do. LAC says, with CCP clamping down on Alibaba and Didi, what's your take on the future of tech in China? So I'm still bullish. But it's funny that you mentioned that. Let me just go back to your comment, LAC. LAC, if you go to my YouTube channel and click on community page, 2 weeks ago, I wrote a little bit of an article explaining my thoughts on China and how I think that a lot of these Chinese names are bottoming. So if you want to look at my behind the street newsletter 2 weeks ago, I actually go into detail about the Chinese equities, some of them in which I think are actually bottoming. But one of the things that I think about Chinese equities right now, well, not think about, one of the things that you have to understand about Chinese equities right now in the United States is you're actually not buying the actual traditional underlying stock, right? They're called ADRs, they're American Depository Receipts. So if you go on Charles Schwab or whatever your broker is and you type in ticker symbol BABA or JD or whatever, you're not actually, right? The American, you're buying these shares, so you're not, if you have the stock on the Hong Kong exchange, but in order for, if you think that you're going to own it by just typing in ticker symbol BABA, it's actually not correct. You get the same price movement, the same price appreciation, but it's actually not the stock. Sabrina Fair says you're near Chabad. Awesome. Yeah, we are. I think it's right here, the Chabad in Midtown. Oops, sorry if I'm buffering everybody. I apologize. C Unseen says charming evening. Save New York City, save US. Do you live in New York, says Jake? Yes, I do. War Walker says, all of a sudden I feel like I'm back in high school. The Mighty Bull says, does Wall Street have a plan for those who lose their jobs? I would hope so. I really would hope so. Troy 1995 says, China tech stocks up big. Troy 1995 says, yes, Tom, long China. I would say be long China, but with limited exposure, right? With limited exposure, but you'd be crazy not to have at least some allocation towards Chinese equities, just based upon the innovation. Because if you look at these exponential growth curves of tech, you just have to really understand the population growth of the Chinese middle class. And that's why I'm also long Indian equities as well. Hey, Manny Explorer says, hello, Mark Davis, doing well. Hope you are. Manny Explorers, always good to have you here. I hope you're enjoying Chicago. I believe Manny Explorers was in Chicago as well. Joyce says, Steve Jobs shared the vision. Tony says, hi, my friend. How are you, mate? You enjoy the lovely walk. Have a coffee. Thanks, Tony from Sydney, Australia. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Zap Allen says, and we're back. Troy 1995 says, yeah, long, but not a lot of exposure. Yeah, I would cut Chinese equity exposure to probably about 5%. I'm probably levered a little bit more than 5% allocation to Chinese names, but definitely be careful. That's just what I would say. Because at the end of the day, China is a communist country, right? And the regulatory oversight is so unpredictable. So really the CCP could squash any of these companies at any time, just like they did with Ant Financial, which was going to be the biggest IPO ever. Ant Group, Ant Financial. Tony says, thank you, mate. Tony. Greetings from Costa Rica, says Joan. Troy 1995 says, I'm pretty sure some of the buildings in New York are owned by the Chinese, 100%. Sabrina Ferris says, hey, Tom, are you near the hotel? I'm not sure about that hotel. How do you think the Taiwan issue will affect equities? I think it'll be a little bit of a non-issue, and this is what I mean by that. So the Biden administration actually came out last week, and as you guys know, I'm not the biggest fan of Joe Biden, but I give everybody a fair shake, right? I think if you're the president of the United States, I think it does no good if you just, always bash the president, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We're all Americans. So I want Joe Biden to do good. I want Kamala Harris to do good. Because then, if they do good, I do good, right? So this is what I think. The Biden administration came out last week. They said, we back Taiwan 100%. Should China try to make a move? So I think that was the right call by Joe Biden. A lot of people on the right and the left came out speaking out against Joe Biden, saying that was a warmongering statement. He shouldn't have said that, and that's imperialism. I disagree. I think Joe Biden did the right thing. I think that was the right move by Joe. And I disagree with almost everything he says, but I absolutely agree and stand behind them 100% because we need to protect Taiwan because they are a massive tech hub, especially with all of the majority of the production of semiconductors coming out of Taiwan. So to sort of put his foot down and say, look, if anything, if China tries to make a move on Taiwan, the United States will back Taiwan. I think that was the right thing to do. That's my viewpoint. So I really don't think China will take any sort of military action against Taiwan. That is just in my view. Hey, Robert Parker says, thanks for the stream with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Robert. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate the support, and thank you for being here. Troy 1995 says, chips God, no Taiwan, no chips. Absolutely. YouTuber says, unfortunately, the press secretary walked back those comments. I did not know that, YouTuber. Sabrina Ferris says, yes, Taiwan. Asia says, my old hometown, New York City, can't afford to live there anymore, unfortunately. Here in Bangkok reminds me a lot of New York City at the quarter of the price. Hey, Asia, Unscripted, thank you for being here. We're happy to have you here, and welcome back to New York, all but virtually. Austin says, greetings from Seattle. I would really like to go to Seattle. I really, really do want to visit Seattle. R.Y. Davis says, greetings from Florida. I will be in Florida very soon. I know, L the original, right? L says, oh my God, the Swan, where have you been? L, I almost fell on the floor last time, a couple streams ago when I saw the Swan. I almost had a heart attack. I had to do a double take. We're very happy to have the Swan back here. He is the bedrock of this stream. So we're very happy to have our pal from Ireland back on. Gouda says, have you seen the movie The Big Short? Yes, I have. It's one of my favorite movies. The non-artist says, are you going live from your iPhone? We are. Lost in the Curve says, China threatens Taiwan on a regular basis for many, many years. Very unlikely that they would actually do anything. You know, I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I think I agree with you. I agree. I don't think they're going to do anything, but I do believe it was the right thing to do, the Biden administration, to say, look, we're going to support Taiwan if anything happens. China has been doing more military practices and exercises near Taiwan. I think it's going to be a non-issue, so I agree with you, Lost in the Curve. Lady Coach Explores is here. How are you? What's up, Lady Coach? The non-artist, good to see you. Zap Allen says, anything is better than the last terrorist administration. Sorry, I just lost the comment. Was in office, says Zap Allen. Interesting take, Zap Allen. Law Den says, and show some Halloween things in New York, says Law Den. How are you, Law Den? Penelope says, agree, he's looking out for them. Roz99999 says, are you reading the chat and filming on the same phone? Pick is pretty steady for reading and walking. This is great. Yes. So it's a little bit, so I apologize if I'm missing anybody's comments, but sometimes these things are coming in hot and it's very difficult for me to read them. So I try to do my best. So trust me, I'm not intentionally ignoring anybody. And I will try to read everybody. So I apologize if I'm skipping anybody. Alex Winter says, MJ, are they official changing it or just considering it? Martin Ringel says, I am a subscriber. If you are not, become one too, says Marilyn Ringel. Thank you, Marilyn. Elizabeth says, we're going to tonight, Tom. We are going to Radio City Music Hall because they actually have the Christmas tree already up at Radio City. Can you believe that? Radio City Music Hall just skipped over Halloween, skipped over Thanksgiving, and they're like, nah, we're going right to Christmas. So there we go. Mike Baker says, hey bro, greetings from New Zealand. Wow. We love New Zealand here. I'm a big fan of New Zealand. Lady Coach Explores says, thank you for mentioning Tom. Appreciate it. No problem, Lady Coach. No problem, Lady Coach. Shadow King says, how are you doing today? I am doing very well, Shadow King. JM says, Tom, what are your thoughts on the metaverse and Facebook changing its name? Yeah, so I was actually reading a very interesting article today in Investors Business Daily about the metaverse, about Facebook. So we'll talk about that once this truck passes by. Again, 10 says, hello, Tom, how are you? Hey, Sabrina Fair, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really do appreciate everybody who's been supporting the channel, so thank you very much. So I think the metaverse is going to be big. I think the metaverse is going to be big, big, big. And I think that's sort of, a lot of the experts are saying the metaverse is Internet 3. That's the next step in the internet, is the metaverse, where you actually live and grow and create ecosystems within internet and cloud environments. Jimmy Anderson, the one and only, says, cheers, Tom. Hope everybody is having a good night. Jimmy, always good to see you here. How are you, Jimmy Anderson? So everybody, if you're interested in sports, if you're interested in sports betting, our pal Jimmy Anderson actually has a podcast called Beer and Bets Podcast. So check him out. He's a good guy, you know? Jared says Web 3.0. Indeed. Robert Parker says, I was at Rockefeller Center earlier today and was surprised how actively busy it is, but I didn't see any tree up. Yeah, so the tree is actually up, Robert Parker, at Radio City Music Hall. Radio City Music Hall. LAC says, many Chinese companies already have their own retail metaverse. In respect, America is falling behind. I think that's actually a very good take, LAC. So LAC, you should check out this guy by the name of Kai-Fu Lee. K-A-I-F-U-L-E-E. And he was the former CEO of Google China. And he actually has 2 books out. One of the first book he came out with was AI 2021. AI Superpowers. AI Superpowers by Kai-Fu Lee, and now he just came out with another book, AI 2041. And Kai-Fu Lee has just an unbelievable perspective into Chinese tech, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And I think that is a must-read for anybody interested in tech. Penelope says, no more MySpace. Alex says, hey AK, saw your stream earlier. Yes, AK was on earlier. Photos from around New York says, Tom, the metaverse was written about a sci-fi in Ready Player One, the book. Hey AK, oh, AK is here, let me see. I'm missing everybody's comments. Hey, Action Kid is here, the one and only Action Kid says, I wonder how the earnings miss of Snapchat due to the Apple privacy changes are going to affect Facebook earnings and Google earnings next week. Yeah, so Action Kid, I think that's a very interesting take, right? Because once we saw Snapchat get clocked after hours, down 22%, Facebook actually sold off, Google actually sold off a little bit, and I think this just goes to show that in this environment, if any sort of company misses earnings even by a little bit, or doesn't exceed their earnings, they're gonna get clocked. And what that tells me is that this market is priced to perfection. I'm not a big bear on Snapchat altogether. I think they're going to figure out ways around it. But one of the things in that earnings report that was the most telling for me, Action Kid, was the supply chain issues. And a lot of people are like, well, how can supply chain issues affect Snapchat? Well, I was reading into the report a little bit. Issues affects advertising dollars because the companies who advertise on Snapchat, on Facebook, on Google, they're not going to spend advertising dollars if they don't think that they're able to deliver the products. So I think it was the chief revenue officer at Snapchat said a lot of the companies that they're talking to, or their biggest advertisers, are like, hey, we're gonna hold up on our advertising spend because we don't even think we can meet demand for the holidays. And I never really thought about it like that, but it is very interesting. So I think we may see some of that spill over into Facebook's earnings, into Google's earnings, because of a lot of these supply chain bottlenecks going on. Advertisers are holding back. Action Kid, it says, might affect our earnings on YouTube too. Yeah, who knows? I mean, I think you're right. So the biggest thing though, Action Kid, that I'm looking at in terms of Alphabet earnings, in terms of Microsoft earnings and Amazon, is their is their cloud computing revenue. So the number one moneymaker that has the most margin in terms of generating free cash for those companies, in my opinion, are their cloud platforms. So Microsoft is reporting earnings. I'm really going to be paying attention to the Microsoft Azure cloud platform revenue. I'm going to be paying attention to Google Cloud platform revenue, and then last but not least, Amazon AWS revenues. Jared says, I had to wait 6 months for lithium battery order. Don't see the ad on LG anymore. Yeah, very interesting, Jared. Hey, the one and only Zuma is here. It says Rockefeller Center tree doesn't go up until early December. Good to have you here. Anonymous Dude 123 says, appreciate the investment conversation. The Mighty Bull says, what happened to the subject of universal health care? Very interesting, Mighty Bull. We'll bring it back. We got to bring it back. Oh, you mother effers. Very interesting screen name. Says, my fear is that the world is moving so fast today that democracy won't be able to keep up. Juan says, Tom, Wu-Tang Clan or a tribe called Quest? Wu-Tang Clan. Troy 1995 says, Snap will build their own hardware. I think people are saying the same thing about Zoom. C Unseen says, classical sights and sounds, appreciate you being out there. Watch out for vehicles. Thank you. Sabrina Fair says, okay, everyone, I just busted open some Halloween candy. I feel shame. Almighty Squirrel says, hey, we'll be on transit from EU in New York City in November between 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. Friday night. We plan to see Times Square, go on walk on 5th Avenue, and see New York Stock Exchange plus the Raging Bull 9/11 Memorial. Wow, it's fantastic. Almighty Squirrel, have a great one. Well, we're definitely going to watch those earnings as they roll out next week, for sure. But Almighty Squirrel, have a good time. Glass Can Bottle Beers Reviews says, hey man, Jimmy from Beer and Bets told me to check you out. Your stuff is fire. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Fan Show here says, hey from Toronto. Junior is here, says, hey bro, what's up everybody? What is up everybody? So we're gonna walk all the way down to Radio City Music Hall, where they actually have the Christmas tree up. I couldn't believe it. So the Christmas tree is up, it's rocking, it's at Radio City. I think it's a little bit premature if you ask me, because we haven't even had Halloween yet. But, it looks beautiful. Wow, check these things out, guys. These are like dragons. These are beautiful. Hey, Oscar says, shout out from Puerto Rico. We love our viewers from Puerto Rico. Anonymous says, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Yeah, so you know what? We'll do a little Halloween survey in the chat. Post in the comments, what's your favorite type of candy on Halloween? I'm not a big candy guy, but if I had to say, it would definitely be Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. So that's mine. What about you? What about everybody else? That's my favorite type of Halloween candy. So check out these monuments here. Crazy. Action Kid says, what will spook the markets will be signs of recession or stagflation might be possible due to supply chain issues. Yeah, Action Kid, I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. Action Kid, did you see Paul Tudor Jones' interview on CNBC this week? I think that was the best interview so far, because Paul Tudor Jones really tells it like it is. So if you haven't seen it, YouTube Paul Tudor Jones CNBC, and he essentially said the same thing that you just said, Action Kid. He's like, I think the worst thing facing the average American investor and consumer is inflation, right? And essentially stagflation is when you have no GDP growth in the economy, no job growth, but prices are continuing to rise. So we'll see what happens, and that's what I think about. That's what I've been saying. I've been writing a lot about in the newsletter. If you guys want to check out my free newsletter, go to the YouTube community page and check out the Behind the Street newsletter. I've been writing that the prices of the major cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum are signaling to the market inflationary pressures. So we've hit all-time record highs in Bitcoin, and I think that's going to continue to happen in short order. So I'm bullish. Oscar says chocolate M&Ms. Those are good. Anna Andrew says Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. That's mine too. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, bar none. Absolutely. Thoughts on the housing market? We'll get into that in 2 seconds. Coffee Chris is anonymous, dude. I've never heard of that. Marty Lewis is Reese's, but I'm trying to avoid it. Hilarious. Zap Allen. Let's see what Zap Allen says. Double bubble. Zap Allen. Never heard of that, Zap Allen. Action Kid says I'll have to watch it. Yes, Action Kid. Check out Paul Tudor Jones. You know what, Action Kid? You know what I think you would enjoy a lot? So Stanley Druckenmiller, I'm sure you know him. If you do exclamation point Druck, exclamation point D-R-U-C-K in the chat, it's going to drop Stanley Druckenmiller's interview at one of the most famous business schools in America. And I think that was the best interview. And he actually gives a full thought out presentation on the Federal Reserve, central banking, and their role that they play in the market. So check that out from Stanley Druckenmiller. Two Will Pines says first ever dono to anyone. Hey, thank you, Two Will Pines. That means a lot, man. Thank you so much. I know it's not much, but you definitely deserve the reins. Thank you for all the awesomeness, Tom. Two Wheel Pines, thank you for the support. I really do appreciate you. You guys don't have to donate anything to the channel, but I do appreciate the thought and the support. So Two Wheel Pines, thank you very, very much. Oshaka says, you can literally see my apartment where you're standing. You're on 49th. Really? Wow, man. You live in a really nice area. You live in a fantastic area. LAC says, can you see machine learning driven trucks coming soon due to the trucker bottlenecks in ports? So the short answer is no. And the only reason why I say that is because I come from the networking side of things. So I actually used to work at a major telecom company, and I used to work with some of the autonomous vehicle companies. And our main problem right now with actually deploying 100%, it's called level 5 autonomous driving, is it's called latency requirements. And right now, you need actual real traditional 5G networks in order to do that. And right now we don't have that. So I think you're gonna start to see autonomous vehicles being fully autonomous in countries like Korea, where their networks are a little bit better. But right now, even though all the major carriers are pumping 5G, it's not traditional 5G in the sense where you can actually do 5G applications. So you need what's called latency requirements. So you need very, very low latency, high throughput network applications, and we don't have that right now. So if you started putting autonomous vehicles on the road, you'd have tons of crashes, things slamming into each other 100%. So what I think is gonna happen with the autonomous vehicle rollout, it'll probably be done in sub-segments in cities with very dense network coverage, but I still think that's years away because the networking infrastructure in the United States is antiquated, in my opinion. Very, very antiquated. Hey, Jared says Wu-Tang Forever and Snickers with the $5 super chat. Jared, thank you so much. Wu-Tang Forever. Martin Shkreli actually paid $2 million for the Wu-Tang album. Joe Hernandez says Bitcoin looks like it's going to level out, says Joe Hernandez. Joe Hernandez, hope you're well. Yeah, so I believe Bitcoin is standing about 30% over its 50-day moving average. So any correction towards that 50-day moving average is a buying opportunity, in my opinion. Troy 1995 says, my opinion for zero accident autonomous vehicles is that build the infrastructure just for the AV. Yeah, so a lot of people, in order to have all of these, big buzzwords that everybody throws out, AI and artificial intelligence, machine learning, autonomous vehicles, you need the network in order to do that. And right now, the United States does not have the infrastructure to put on true 5G networks. It's just not there. You need very dense coverage, in which case that's probably going to come from a technology called massive MIMO. So you'll probably see very, very small subsegments of autonomous vehicles in like Houston, Texas, San Antonio, where the networks are a little bit more dense. But full autonomous vehicles across the country, I think, is years away. Bernie Williams says neither does most of the world. That's not entirely true. Well, actually, it is entirely true. Not most of the world, obviously, but I think Korea, parts of China, Japan probably has the heads up. But that's just because American telecom infrastructure is very old. Zuma says all autonomous vehicle takes away our freedom to drive vehicles we want to, says Zuma. Very interesting take. Jetstar, good to see you here, Jetstar. Sabrina says they can microwave my brain with 5G, but would anybody notice? Big Y says hello from Brazil. LAC says it probably get rolled out for interstate highways, and then a real person will take over once the truck enters the city. Very interesting take. OU mother effers says Wall Street Skate Bro, you seem to be a well-off person. What do you hope to achieve with this channel? I think it's fun, man. I like talking to you guys. You guys are my pals. And I enjoy talking about technology. I enjoy talking about finance. And I enjoy skateboarding around New York City and Miami. And if I can do that talking to you guys, I'm happy, man. I'm happy. Anonymous Dude 123 says, Mr. Tom, I hate to sound like a zombie, but your brains are very impressive. Could you recommend a magazine of book to read? So one of my favorite things to read right now would probably have to be, let's turn towards News Corp. So this is the News Corp building right here, everybody. And News Corp actually owns Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and Investors Business Daily. So I would read Investors Business Daily every single weekend. And the reason why I say that, for sure here, housing market, I'm gonna get to that right now. I got it in my head, housing market. Read Investors Business Daily because in my opinion, they have the best analysts and journalists on Wall Street in terms of their reputation, and they're very tech focused. So if you're interested in emerging technologies, interviews with leading CEOs and portfolio managers, Investors Business Daily is the best bang for your buck. If you don't want to pay for it, what you can do is you could walk into any 7-Eleven and you'll see the Investors Business Daily papers getting all crusty and yellow on the bottom rack of the newspaper stand because nobody reads them. So I'm sure you could probably just walk in and pick one up for free, and the guy behind the counter won't even notice or care because nobody reads them. So definitely go into your local 7-Eleven, pick up an Investors Business Daily. They'll probably won't even charge you for it, and just read it. All right, housing market. Housing market. This is what I think about the housing market. The number one thing that is predicated on actually, let me not say the health. I'm not going to say health. I'm just going to say the price appreciation of single-family homes and real estate in America is predicated on interest rates. So who's in charge of setting interest rates? Well, that would be Jerome Powell, Fed Chair Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve. So I think we've had an amazing housing boom in this country due to artificially low interest rates, the illusion of affordability. And what I mean by that is, let's say even, let's just say even if, a house is $400,000, the payment is actually probably going to be the same on a house that is $200,000 in a normal interest rate environment. So let's say interest rates were 6 to 8%, and you're looking to buy a $300,000 house. Well, now that interest rates, you can get it sub 3%. A sub 3% interest rate. Hold on, I'll wait till this guy passes. If you can get a sub 3% interest rate, now you could afford more house. You could afford more of the payment. So could we say that the housing market is in a bubble? Probably. I think you could say that. But I think a lot of people underestimate just how long this bubble could last due to accommodative monetary policy and quantitative easing. So this is Radio City Music Hall, and here is the Christmas tree on top of it. It was lit up all today, but I don't think they have it lit up now. But they do have the Christmas light up right now, or the Christmas tree up. Joyce Carter says, I appreciate you, Tom. Anonymous Dude 123 says, appreciate the knowledge. ROZ9999 says, IBD stock checkup is pretty good too. Bernie Williams says, just to say, never read AI Superpowers, just ordered as it interests me. Yeah, so Bernie Williams, if you want, also, YouTube Kai-Fu Lee. He has amazing interviews on YouTube. And he actually used to be the CEO for Google China during the tech and telecom boom. So he knows on the ins and outs, everything China in terms of AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning. And ever since he stepped down as the CEO of Google China, he actually launched his own venture capital firm called Sinovation Ventures. And Sinovation Ventures is a venture capital firm run by Kai-Fu Lee that only invests into Chinese startup AI and machine learning companies. So Sinovation Ventures, check it out. Jimmy Anderson says, dude, Tom, I've been to that radio place. What are the name of the dancers? The Rockettes. Yes, they are the Rockettes. Absolutely. 48 says, hi, Tom. Hope all is well with you this evening. Indeed. Hope all is well with you. We have the Christmas tree on top of the Radio City Music Hall. Pretty cool. For sure, it says, asking for Canada though, housing has gone up a lot, like 1.5 million CAD in Toronto, a lot higher than in COVID. Yeah, so one of the main things I think about the housing market is that, let's say, you're in very good profit on your house, right? Let's say you made $500,000 on your house, and you're thinking about selling your home right now. Well, the main problem you run into is, okay, I could sell my house and make a lot of money, but where am I going to go? Where am I going to live, right? You need to then go back into the marketplace to try to purchase another home. And what we're seeing right now in the housing market is that every single home has 3, 4, 5 offers on it. So what that's doing is it's pushing a lot of people to not sell their homes, in which case it's actually exacerbating the housing shortage we have here in the United States and Canada. And that's due to a plethora of things, but the main thing that it's due to is incompetent government bureaucracy. We have severely underbuilt homes in the United States. We have a shortage of single-family housing. And now during the pandemic, people are actually scared to sell their homes because who wants to go through the hassle of moving during a global pandemic? Nobody does, right? So what you have is you have a wave of millennials and Gen Zers, such as myself, that have all of this cash laying around from their lucrative tech jobs, investment banking jobs, and all of that money is chasing too few assets due to artificially low interest rates. So I'll give you guys a perfect example. I actually just closed on my house. In North Miami Beach, and my interest rate is below 3%. We just got an inflation print that is above 4%. So in reality, I got a loan of 300 grand from JP Morgan Chase for free, right? It's literally calculated for inflation. It's free money, right? So I put the down payment, and then with the interest rate in terms of real rates, not nominal rates, real rates, it's a free loan, right? So that is juicing this housing market as ever. So hopefully I'm explaining it well. I'm not an expert in real estate by any means. So hopefully I'm explaining it in the most, hopefully the best way possible. Let's just put it that way. For sure says, thanks for the info, really nice. Anonymous Dude 123 says, lucrative tech and investment banking job. Joyce Carter says, this live stream has reached an all-time high. Thank you, Joyce Carter. MTR says, I wish I bought a brownstone in Brooklyn. Don't we all? I wish I bought a brownstone in Brooklyn. Or I wish I could afford, let me rephrase that, MTR. I wish I could afford to buy a brownstone in Brooklyn. JM says, are you house hacking? I am house hacking. Ian Taylor says, hey, Wall Street Skate Bro, did you get to the Seagram building the other day? I missed it. No, I have not. We're going to go there right now. We're going there right now, Ian Taylor. For sure says, that's an excellent way of informing. No problem. Thank you so much. Roz999 says, I am Gen X. Am I too old to be here? No, not at all, man. Anybody is welcome here, no matter what your age, your political affiliation. Everybody's just hanging out here on the stream, having a good time. Jetstar says, creating a housing shortage. Indeed. Dean M says, just sold for a killing, one Cincinnati, relocated down to Dallas. No income tax, life is better. Hey, Tom, hope all is well. Dean, awesome, man. Dean, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so happy to hear things like that. I hope you made an absolute killing, and I hope you enjoy your new home down in Texas. Dogman says, I'll just sell and rent until the crash. Good luck with that. Yeah, very interesting, Dogman. I think people have been saying that for a long time. Tiago says, hi, Taylor, I'm in Brazil. The Dope Dealer 718 says, man, such a beautiful scene. It is. Thank you for being here. Robert Parker says, is that the new location for the Christmas tree? It is not. They always have this Christmas tree on top of Radio City. But it is not lit up tonight, which is a little bit of a bummer. It was lit up earlier. Anonymous Dude 123, always good to have you here. Robert Parker says, and throughout all the Upper East Side, there are a lot of apartment buildings going up. War Walker from Miami, how are you? Faith says, good evening. Hello, peeps. Radio City Hall, nice. Screenshot, have a safe night. Faith, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel, Faith. I appreciate you. The Dope Dealer, thank you for the $1 super chat, the Dope Dealer. I really do appreciate all of the support. Photos from around New York says 3% interest is low. Wow. Yeah, isn't it insane? That's insane. Hi, how do you feel about the vaccination? I personally do not trust it. I'm going to do a hard pass on that one. I apologize, just because I don't want to get demonetized and I don't want to set off an absolute firestorm in the comments. But I say, if you want to get the vax, get it. If you don't, don't. But I personally have it. Anonymous's question, do you believe that that the 5 people you hang out with will affect your success? Yes, I do. I do. Hey, Terry Docker says, lots of Manhattan apartment deals, but the monthly maintenance fees are too high. I think all of those deals are gone now. I think everybody's pretty much back to getting fleeced. Hey, Tammy says, hi from Serbia. For show says, S&P 500, your thoughts? So fan show, if you want to, click on my channel and go to my YouTube community page, because if you want very in-depth analysis of the equities markets and the housing markets, I actually write a free newsletter every single Sunday at 8 p.m. where I give a full markets look ahead. We go over all of the earnings that came out and all the major pinpoints in the economy. So if you want to know my thoughts on the equities markets, please check out the newsletter. But for the past couple weeks and the past couple months, we maintain that equities markets will continue to all-time record highs, in which case this week we had the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 closing at all-time record highs off the back of very positive financial earnings. So we had 2 weeks ago, we had JP Morgan Chase, all the main investment banks, coming with better than expected earnings, mainly on their M&A, equity underwriting, and portfolio management fees. So their investment banking divisions are doing exceptionally well due to increased M&A activity on the market and increased IPO activity as well. So investment banks cleaned up with those fees, and also Bank of America reported better than expected credit card spending, which will probably foreshadow a lot of the consumer earnings that are coming down the pike very soon. Will Mta go bankrupt, says Peter. Yes. TL says South Beach, Miami. Love South. Well, actually, I don't like South Beach, Miami. I like Miami in general, but I'm not a big fan of South Beach, but I love Miami. Refied for 2.75 6 months ago, says Jetstar. Oh my God, man. That's insanity. MTR says you need to make a minimum of $200,000 to live in New York City. I don't know about that, man. I mean, I get what you're coming at, but I don't know if I agree with that. Ian says, love your still shots on your stream. Looks amazing on Chromecast. Thank you, Ian Taylor. Appreciate it. Alex Winter says, are you visiting New York or do you live there, if you don't mind? I live in New York City and I live in Miami. LAC says, I guess JP rather give you the money and reduce the amount of money depreciates from inflation. I agree, definitely. I think that's why it's good to take on debt now if if it's going towards an income producing property. So one of my buddies actually works here in Nürburgring, Berman. They're a big asset manager. The dope dealer, how are you? I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody's comments. Out and about. How are you? Pete Webley, I do believe the MTA will go bankrupt, but they'll probably get bailed out. Asia says, how do you split your time between New York City and Miami, 50-50? Well, I just moved to Miami about a week ago, so. What do you think about Stag Industrial, says Cade Wade? I'm not sure. Could you clarify that a little bit? Stag Industrial? Jovan Iran says, I want to go to New York City so bad. Definitely come here. You're more than welcome to be here. Two Wheel Pine says, are you going to be streaming tomorrow night before taking off to Miami, or maybe a night off? So I'm flying back to Miami Monday morning. Obama says, can FDIC save all the banks? No, I mean, FDIC is more like a consumer protection type deal. MTR says, Tom, can you explain what derivatives are? Yeah, I mean, so a derivative, the definition of a derivative is something that derives value from an underlying asset. Right, so something that derives its value from an underlying asset. So if you want to talk about the most common derivative product out there on Wall Street, you would probably look at the options market. So for example, a call option is a derivative product because it derives its value from the underlying equity. Right, so when you're buying a call, you're not buying the stock, you're buying a contract that in turn derives its value from the underlying security in which you are trading, or the underlying equity. Right, so for example, if let's say if Apple, let's just give an example. Let's say stock XYZ is trading for $100. Right, stock XYZ is trading for $100, and you want to buy one at-the-money call contract on stock XYZ. Well, that contract is a derivative product because it gives you the right, but not the obligation, to own or buy 100 shares of that underlying equity, right? In which case is stock XYZ. So there's a leverage component in that, right? So you can control a lot more shares of the company with a lot less money. So that is where the leverage comes in. However, if that option expires out of the money, you lose all the money that you paid for the options contract or the premium, right? So the money that you spend on acquiring that options contract is called the premium. And most people who trade options or buy options actually end up losing money, because 90% of all options actually expire worthless out of the money. So the real people who are making money in the options market are the market makers who are selling options to the options buyers. Which is better, being a CPA or a CFA? I don't know. I can't comment on that because I'm not either one. Jovan says he has a very nice voice. Bernie Williams says superb explanation. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So a put. So now that we went over calls, let's go over puts. So a put, if you are a buyer of a put, you are taking a bearish stance on that underlying security. So a put contract is the right, but not the obligation, to sell 100 shares of that underlying security. So again, a put contract, hold on one second. This is a beautiful architecture, this building, phenomenal. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all these lights here. I love that. So a put contract is the right, but not the obligation, to sell 100 shares of that underlying security. Right, so a put is taking a bearish position on the market and buying a call. Buying a call is taking a bullish position on the market through a derivative product, right? Because the value of that contract is derived on the underlying share of that equity, right? So just remember, if you buy one call, you actually have the ability to control an equivalent amount of 100 shares of that stock. The same thing with buying a put. And there's 3 components that go into an options contract. You could either buy out of the money options, in which case the strike price of that option is above the currently traded price of that equity right now. You could buy an at the money call or a put, which is at the equivalent price of where the equity is trading at, or you could buy an in the money contract, which is where the price or the strike price is trading within the parameters of where that equity is trading right now. Hey, Jack is here, says hi. What's up, Jack? Roz999 says, I have a CPA and it provides a very good foundation for business and accounting. Well, there we have it. That's phenomenal. There we have it from Roz999. Get the CPA. Fashar says, if you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living? I am in tech sales. Photos from around New York says, Tom, is that the old 21 Club? I'm not sure about that, actually. Is it? I have no idea. Penelope says, yes, beautiful. Anonymous dude says, 123 says, cool. Hey, Ibrahim Azam is here. What's up, Ibrahim? Hope school is going well for you. JM says, covered calls are a good form of passive income if you know what you are doing, says JM. Very interesting take, JM. Hey, Melee is here, says, just love listening to Tom's explanation. Sabrina Fair, how are you? Vita says, are fluent in Spanish since you live in Miami also? I am not fluent in Spanish. However, I hope to be. I do hope to be. So this is one of my favorite buildings in the city. It's the Cartier building. And this has absolutely beautiful Christmas lights during Christmas. It has a massive Jaguar on the side of the building. It's phenomenal. The Cartier building. Austin says, how did you get into tech sales? Well, at the time when I was a teenager, I was working on the Upper West Side of Manhattan at a car rental place. And all of the successful people that would come in, that would rent cars from me, they were either investment bankers or in enterprise software sales. And they always said, dude, you are so talented. You make us feel so welcome when we come here to rent cars from you. You got to go into investment banking or software sales or tech sales. So I went into tech sales. So this is the 432 Park Avenue right here. Very, very cool building. However, it is in extreme litigation because all of the tenants are so upset at the property managers and at the developers of the building because they're having so many issues. Robert Parker says winter in New York is going to be very cold, above normal precipitation. Interesting. Joe Vaughn is here, says it's beautiful, love the white facade. Isn't it beautiful? This is one of my favorite buildings here, very beautiful. What's the tall gray building, says Logan. Logan, the tall gray building is 432 Park Avenue. And right next to the Cartier store is the Versace store. Hey, Ed is here. What's up, Ed? Says buy a watch. Mark says that building uses to be the 21 Club. Check out the movie Wall Street. Definitely will. Hey, Jimmy Anderson says talk to you soon, everyone. Enjoy your Sundays. Jimmy, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ibrahim Azam says school is good, Tom. My GPA is slightly better now. Fantastic, Ibrahim. For show says cool. Have a good night, sir. Really like your content. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I really, really do. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the conversation, and I will see you very soon. Sally says beautiful building, Tom. Junior says Magic City, Miami. Israel says hello from Denver. Love Denver. Big tech hub there. Big tech hub in Denver. Cad Wade says what kind of tech do you sell? So mainly what I'm focusing on now, which has the most margin, is like MDM software. So MDM stands for mobile device management. So now that everybody is working remotely, companies really want a way to protect their corporate infrastructure, right? So if everybody is working on laptops, computers, or whatever, always out in the field, that is what's called in the industry as endpoints. So there's more endpoints available for devices to be compromised and proprietary information to be compromised. So when you install some sort of MDM, Dogman, I'm familiar with Jamf. So Jamf is an MDM I work with a lot, and I actually sell a lot of Jamf. But that's mainly geared towards iOS products, so only Apple devices. But another thing that I sold a lot of back in the day is SD-WAN. So SD-WAN is an acronym for Software Defined Wide Area Networks. Software Defined Wide Area Networks. So if anybody is familiar with like networking, this is a cool store, Fig and Olive. If anybody remembers like a traditional MPLS network, which stands for multi-protocol switch labeling, now you can control your network infrastructure over software, right? Which I think in this modern day and age is probably more realistic, I should say, and is going to be more prevalent. So there's actually a lot of cybersecurity companies that are getting into SD-WAN. And again, SD-WAN stands for Software Defined Wide Area Networks. So a company that is, I think everybody would probably be familiar with them. They are mainly famous for selling firewalls, Fortinet. They're actually spinning off into being a big player into SD-WAN offerings. Black Angel says, don't stay out too late. Marilyn Ringle says, if you had $10,000 to invest, where would you put the money? I think I'm going to have to agree with Jim Cramer that your first $10,000 should be invested into a low-cost index fund that tracks the S&P 500. Roz999 says, you are right in front of Omni Berkshire. So sad it closed. I have stayed there countless times. Wow. That's sad. Christian says, so want a fig and olive, or olive in your fig? Why not? Sweet and salty. Anonymous says, good cue. Jake says, hey Tom, your position on AMD Advanced Micro Devices. I have been holding a significant amount of shares, averaged in at $52. Holder seller adds to the position. I have a potential 185K tax liability if I unload this. So Jake, if you think back to like regular market theory, right? So let's say you were talking to like a Demoderan, right? Like an Othmar Demoderan, which is a professor at New York University. He would say, don't let tax liability go into your investment making decisions, right? But it's very hard not to. I mean, I have tax liability that I take into my investment making decisions all the time. I mean, I would just say it really depends on your risk profile, right? If you have $180,000 gain, I mean, is that a lot of money? Yeah, it is. It just depends on if you want to hold through this earnings report, which AMD, I believe, is reporting this week. I believe they're reporting on Tuesday or something like that. Look, I mean, so this is what I would say, and I can't give out financial advice, but if it were me, let's just say if it were me, and if you want to protect your gains, I would either, number one, I would sell the equivalent amount of call options, right, to take in a little bit of income through that earnings report, or if premium is not that ridiculous going into earnings. I mean, the market makers probably have already priced out those premiums to the tick going into earnings. I would pick up the equivalent amount of put options to where you would hedge your position, right? But if you like the stock, if you're bullish on a stock, I would never short a stock that I'm bullish on. So if you want to retain your position in AMD, but you think there's going to be short-term volatility into earnings, I would probably just sell some call options going into earnings to, if this thing tanks, you'll get to keep the premium that you sold on the calls. So that's what I would do, but I can't advise against anything. But if you don't want to sell, if you don't want the taxable event, I would just hedge going into earnings by selling calls. MTR says BlackRock building. Yes, BlackRock is here. BlackRock is right here. There was actually a big protest here the other day. I was walking past it. There was a lot of environmentalists protesting BlackRock right over here. Hey, Nico's from Buenos Aires. That's awesome. So everybody, we are standing right across the street from my favorite building in New York City, the Seagram building. This is my absolute favorite building in New York, Seagram. Beautiful. This is my favorite building. We'll walk the entire parameter of it. Love that. Says I miss the city. I haven't been there in forever. I'm like 40 minutes away. Love that. You got to come back. Out and About says, when do they film Law and Order SVU? I'm surprised you never ran into it in New York City. So they used to actually film Law and Order in my college. I went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice. They always used to be filming at John Jay. MJ says just long and AMD and NVIDIA. Bernie Williams says SPWN and SASE thoughts. Yeah, so SASE is pronounced sassy, like S-A, sassy, like sassy. I believe it stands for Secure Access Server Edge or Service Edge. And Zscaler is a cybersecurity company that actually specializes in that. Fortinet, CrowdStrike. But yeah, I think, you know what, Bernie Williams, what we'll do? We're going to do an entire stream next week doing a deep dive into cybersecurity, because I think that is going to be one sector of the economy that's going to grow the most, right, in terms of overall technology spend. So a lot of the times when I'm on appointments with chief technology officers and CEOs of companies, they are all right now working on not really a go-to-market strategy, but an implementation strategy of multiple different software products in the realm of cybersecurity. So if you think about like IAM, the acronym IAM is Identity and Access Management, we'll find that everybody usually uses Okta, right? Okta is like an IAM, Identity and Access Management, or a single sign-on software provider. I believe one of their other biggest competitors is a company out of Denver called Ping Identity, P-I-N-G Identity. And they were actually taken public by Vista Equity Partners, Ping Identity. So I think the IAM space is going to be growing, especially with single sign-on, verification, password management, integrating with different CRMs and things like that, like a Salesforce or a Zoho. So cybersecurity, I am extremely bullish on. So if anybody is looking for a new career and you want to be on the sell side or the sales side, I would definitely advise on applying to account executive or enterprise account executive positions at CrowdStrike, Zscaler, Fortinet, Palo Alto Networks, all the big cybersecurity companies. Bernie Williams says agree. Seagram is the alcohol behemoth. Bernie Williams says, me too. One is down the road I work for. Awesome. Paranormal Wellness Witness Girl says, hello from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Very interesting, touristy, and educational live. Hey, thank you for being here. I actually just moved to North Miami Beach, and I love it. I absolutely love North Miami Beach. And I will be back down in North Miami Beach on Monday. Hello from Brazil. I went to New York City in 2019. Best trip ever. I will return one day. That is awesome. I hope you return one day. I like this G-Wagon here. I mean, I don't drive. I'm not a big car guy, but if I had to get one down the road, I think I'd either get a Tesla or a G-Wagon if I had the money. MTR says, I took a yellow cab from Empire State Building to Wall Street once. It took less than 10 minutes. I felt like I was in a pinball machine, almost puked, said MTR. That's hilarious. Sabrina Ferris says, hey Tom, what certifications do you recommend for cybersecurity? I mean, honestly, you could probably apply to a cybersecurity company and you don't really need to major in computer science or anything like that. In my experience, you learn on the job. You learn most of the things on the job, because what happens is, you work with so many smart people. So if you're on a sales team, let's say if you're coming from an investment bank and you want to move into tech, you're going to have solutions engineers. So for example, let's say if you're not an expert in cybersecurity, and you're an account executive or an enterprise account executive, you're going to get guidance from your engineering team that's going to go on these appointments with you and take time to really teach you the inner workings of a network and how to build these infrastructures. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. Emergency stopping only says you're not too far away from my office. Nice, man. Where is your office? What street? The Mighty Bolts is watching and listening. Hey, Charlie Richardson is here. Says hi, Tom. What's up, Charlie? Good to see you. Hi from Panama. How are you? So we're going to walk over here. We'll do a little walk around the Seagram building, and then we will head back to the Moynihan train station. But I will show everybody a view of 432 Park Avenue right here. Bernie Williams says, I once took my dad to Wall Street as someone that was in the early 90s, says Bernie Williams. Cool. WPIX11, the news building, 42nd and 3rd. Hey, very cool. Pix 11 News, very cool. So now you can see the MetLife building as well as the brand new One Vanderbilt building. Very, very beautiful. Jake says if one has a significant short-term gain in a cryptocurrency with an overseas account without any personal information, can one take the gains without paying short-term taxes if account is untraceable? No, but I think you know what I'm getting at. You know what I mean, Jake? I can't tell you, yeah, Jake, go ahead and evade all the taxes right here on the Wall Street Escape Road channel. I can't say that, but so my answer is no. But I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. But no, I would not advise on tax evasion, but I think you get the drill. Nathan says, has you ever been to the summit at One Vanderbilt? Not yet. Not yet. But I will. Fenner says, are you skating? Not tonight. We will be back on the skateboard very shortly, though, everybody. I promise. MTR says, used to be Pan Am building. Eugene says, I just got back from my trip to Medford, Oregon Trail on Route 62, then went to Eagle Point, then took I-5 back home. Took me almost 1 hour. Wow. Eugene, I hope you had a great time. We are here at the Seagram building here on East 52nd Street and Park Avenue. Photos from around New York says 400 viewers. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, everybody. If you enjoy this sort of content where we walk around New York City and talk about finance, feel free to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Joyce says, have a good night, Tom. Question, are hotels getting good exposure in New York City? So I believe the Hilton Hotel actually just reopened for business after about a year of being closed. Penelope says, I'm trusting your battery is good or you have a power bank. We do not have a power bank, but the battery is decent. A says, I just subscribed. Nice to meet you. Hey, thank you so much. Nice meeting you too, A. I'm happy you are here. and hope to see you on future streams. We are very, very happy you are here. Ian says, loving the pictures, Tom. Ian Taylor, thank you. MTR says, how many trades are processed in one day in the New York Stock Exchange? I'm not sure about that exact amount. I'm actually not sure about that exact amount. Joga is here. What's going on? Fenger says, walk by some clubs. Want to see if girls are out tonight. Bernie Williams is totally due. Sorry for the last comment. I lost your comment. I apologize. Robert Parker says, do you think I can land a job in that area? 100%, Robert. I am interested in switching industries. Could you send me an email, which you should have? Yes, Robert, I will send you an email. You just got to start applying. Robert, really the trick is you just got to start applying, dude. This is, if there's any time in history where you have the biggest chance of getting a job offer at a tech company, it's right now. I mean, you're probably going to get a way bigger salary than you're expecting. You got to just start applying. You can't wait around, and not to sound harsh, you can't wait around for an email from me. You can't wait around for this to make sure your resume is perfect. You just got to start hammering out these resumes, and I promise you, you're going to get a job at a tech company. There's a global, not only in the United States, but a global worker shortage. There's a global shortage of workers, so people and companies are spending crazy amounts of money to retain their employees. So any job that you pretty much apply to, you are definitely going to get an interview. So this is the one time in human history where employees actually have the majority of the power. So Robert Parker, I believe in you. I saw your resume. I thought it was good. You got to get in there and you got to start hammering out these resumes, and I promise you, you will get an interview. Jaga says, you can go and see, but I could not live. Mr. Wobble says, no jab, no job in New York City. Roz99999 says, I just looked at the New York Times article on that super tall, skinny Park Avenue building. One condo was 46 million. I believe one condo was 100 million. But there's actually a big civil lawsuit now with almost everybody in this tower. Everybody in 432 Park Avenue is actually suing the developers of the tower right now because of how terrible it was built. Edson says, where are you exactly, Tom? We are on the corner of East 53rd Street and Park Avenue. Robert Parker says, thanks for the advice. I'm on it. Yeah, Robert, and don't take that in a way that I'm being like harsh, right? I'm just being totally honest with you. I mean, you guys know, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know I shoot it straight with you. And from what I'm seeing in the economy and from what I'm seeing with my friends getting jobs and things like that, the power right now is with the employees. So you have negotiating power in terms of your salaries, in terms of career advancement. So you got to just definitely start applying, and you're going to get interviews. And you could probably even negotiate higher salaries than you could before due to the labor shortage we have in the United States. Vita says, I agree. Before I got my job, I was actually rejecting job offers till I got the best job now. Vita, right? 100%. I think somebody on this stream, because we did an entire stream dedicated to negotiating salaries at jobs. I believe it was Zap Allen took my advice and asked the employer for a raise, and I believe they doubled their salary. So there you go. Dark Nook says, hi, how are you? Mike says, just that nobody can buy a house anymore, says Mike. What's up, Mike? Mojave 26, is it true that people are overbidding for apartments in New York City? That is true. Horatio Snipes is here, my man from CUNY John Jay, fellow John Jay alumni, our pal Horatio. How are you, Horatio? Good to see you. This is KPMG. So if you think about the big consulting firms, KPMG, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, this is one of them. Troy 1995 says, double the salary. The previous salary is a scam. Jake says, are cryptocurrency transactions from Interactive Brokers or TradeStation reported to the IRS? Yes. Yes, they are. Mr. Wobble says, higher salaries and huge sign-on bonuses. Yes, huge. Anonymous says, negotiating skills are dope. That's great. Hector says, Latino male with a lot of experience and knowledge with a crazy work ethic and still ain't seeing the labor market respect that everybody is speaking on, says Hector Rodriguez. So Hector, what industry are you in that you're trying to apply for jobs in? Maybe we could try to help you out in the chat. Horatio Snipes says, I'm a Fed guy. What is going on, Horatio? But Vita, congratulations on your success, my friend. I'm so happy to hear that. Lisa says, what is the purple building in the distance? That is the Hemsley building. It is called the Hemsley building, and it's right in front of the MetLife building and Grand Central Station. Omar says, I'm moving to the city soon for work. Which neighborhood would you recommend me check out? I would recommend living on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, relatively anywhere between 75th and 96th Street. Very beautiful. And this is Blackstone. Blackstone right here. Hey, the one and only Joe Hernandez says, if I ask for a raise, it will be like asking myself, says Joe Hernandez. Joe, ask, man. Ask yourself for a raise. Maybe you'll get one. Nathan Reyes says, how hard is it to get an entry-level job in finance industry right out of college? You know, I think that question, it's relative, right? Look at the finance bros here. Got a lot of bros here, finance bros. The Patagonia's on. Very cool. I would say that's very relative, right? Very relative. I think if you've done a good job networking and doing your internships, I think you have a pretty good shot. Honestly, I think you got a pretty good shot, especially now. Some of my friends who work in private equity, you know, they're paying ridiculous retention bonuses, actually. Retention bonuses. So I think you don't know unless you apply. You got to apply. The biggest problem or mistake that I see between my friends is like, oh, I want to apply to this job, but you know, I'm looking at the job description and I don't have a master's degree, or I don't have this qualification, or I don't have 5 years of experience, so I can't apply. Just to let you in on a little secret, the reason why employers put that in the job descriptions is to automatically vet out people to not apply for the job, right? So you're pretty much already telling yourself, no. I mean, let the hiring manager tell you that. You should be applying to every freaking job on the planet. If you want it and you don't have a master's degree, so what? Apply for the job. It doesn't cost you anything. Once you get that interview, that's when you have to go and impress these people. So oftentimes companies will put these ridiculous qualifications, air quotes, qualifications, that you need 10 years of experience, you need a master's degree, you need an MBA, just to automatically vet out the majority of applicants. So it's irrelevant. The job qualifications, in most cases, I mean, unless you're applying for like the CEO or a CFO of a company, in most cases the qualifications are irrelevant in terms to degrees. Now, I'm not saying, you know, if you go apply to, you know, Goldman Sachs as a quantitative researcher and you're terrible at math, you know, you're probably not going to get the job. But within reason, I think you'll be fine. Horatio Snipes says, how do you know they're finance bros, Tom? They're sitting outside of BlackRock, and they have Patagonia vests on. Gudmo says, Tom, thought you would be down in Miami cutting down palm trees. Just saying, nice to see you. Good to see you too, Gudmo Ed. So John says, I applied to so many positions at the hospital, they send me a letter to stop applying. John, I respect that. Jake says, are day traders such as Ross Cameron or Mir Barak legit? I don't know who that is. Those two made over 185,000 trading only one stock. I don't know. I've never heard of those guys, but probably not. Roz9999 says, can you tell if they were remodeling the world off a story? Yeah, they are. So it's called the towers that walled off Astoria right here. All Seeing Activities says, hi, any tips on how to become your own boss? I would welcome. Well, do you have a product or a service that you want to offer to the marketplace? That's what I would say. Do you have some sort of product or service that you're looking to offer into the marketplace? Lyrics is, hi man, how are you? I am very, very good. What would you rather do other than YouTube? Like as a hobby, probably skateboarding and playing soccer. Gun Moed, good to see you. Troy 1995 says, I think my employer really hired me for my attitude. They gave me an assignment. I sent it at 3 a.m. in the morning after I had to finish it. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Anonymous says, write a book, Tom. Bro, if you have internet already. I do have internet. Gun Moed says, Tom. Oh yeah, I read that one. Sabrina says, Tom, can you explain what an annuity is? Yes, in 1 second. Charlie Richardson says, wow, thanks for those tips, Tom, no problem. Hector says, I was in the cast iron industry with very strong leadership skills, now a motivational speaker. Hey, very cool. All Seeing Activities says, computer applications. Bernie Williams says, agree with applying for every job that you think you can do. If you feel that it is a good fit, it can happen. I agree. Let's see, who else? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Did you go to Harvard, says Robert Parker? No, I went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice right here on Manhattan's Upper West Side, Columbus Circle. Anonymous says, what do you make if all these YouTube millionaires under the age of 20 has the internet made it easier than ever to be wealthy? I'm not sure what the question was. Could you rephrase that? Photos from around New York says, finance bros rocking the vest. Indeed. They do look exhausted, but they're getting compensated quite well. Gun Moed says, if BTC goes to 100K, the dollar goes to practically zero in Bitcoin. Well, I think that the dollar is in a hyperinflationary collapse in relation to Bitcoin. Vita says, thank you. It was a full-time job applying for jobs. I know. Crazy. Troy 1995 says, I got the job right before I discovered your channel, and it's almost 2 months. Awesome. Horatio Snipes says, Omar, I recommend Hunts Point in the Bronx. Bernie Williams says, I worked out a salary that matched being a contractor, which made me change more benefits. That's awesome. Let's see where we're at, everybody. I think I gotta head back down. Could we get a quick time check in the chat? I do apologize, but I don't have my watch on me. Jonathan Richards says, hey Tom, you do any podcasts outside of your channel? So I was on one podcast. I'm not sure. It's just like it's like a financial podcast. It's 12:21. No way. Oh, 11:21. Wait, what time is it in Eastern Standard Time? Is it? Out and about, funny. Oh my God, it's 12:21 Eastern Standard Time. Oh man, not good, guys. Oh well. That's a big goof. 12:21 Eastern Standard Time. No, man, I missed my train. Dang it. That sucks. Ah, well, whatever. All Seeing Activity says, I'm watching from Sweden. The time is different. Anonymous Dude 123 says, what do you make of all these YouTube millionaires under the age of 20? Has the internet made it easier than ever to be wealthy? I'm not sure of any YouTube. I mean, look, I think it's very statistically improbable to... I mean, look, the internet has made it easier to make money, but I think if you're just banking on, like, if all the people under 20, I think that they're just mainly hooligans doing corny things like harassing people, and they make a lot of money off of the YouTube ads. I get that, but I don't think that's a career strategy, so I would not advise that. However, there's a lot of good, solid YouTube businesses, and I agree that the internet has made it easier to make money through ventures like e-commerce and things like that. So I do agree. Troy 1995 says, Tom, I think you need to get an Apple Watch so you can check the time. Dude, I know. I don't own any watches, but I missed my train. So I think the next train is like at 4:30 in the morning. So we'll figure out what we're gonna have to do. I may have to call somebody. MB says, don't believe everything you read about YouTube millionaires. I agree. Mr. Wobbles says, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a great book. That is a great book. Out and About says, you have to let us know when to cut the stream. I know. Hey, Lady O is here. What's up, Lady O? British Gray says, Tom is at the Hemsley building. It is the Hemsley building. It is the Hemsley building. Jake says, if Jerome Powell one morning wakes up and pins Fed overnight rates to a more realistic level, will the market crash? Do you see the market correcting soon? I think we just got out of a correction, right? The market is just emerging from a correction. And my view is that the Federal Reserve will continue to leave interest rates at an artificially low level. And I think that they will continue to buy about $100 billion in treasuries a month and $40 billion of mortgage-backed securities. That is my view. And as Paul Tudor Jones says, we have to watch what the Fed does, not listen to what they say. So we've been hearing about taper talk for some time now. However, we haven't actually seen that come to fruition. So we will just have to see. Dogman says, took 1 month to drop 4% and 5 days to get back to all-time highs. Yeah, it is definitely crazy. What do you think about DWAC stock? So that is it's like a SPAC. It is a special purpose acquisition company. I would never buy it. I don't really have any particular take on it. I don't know the financials, but I would just stay away from it altogether. MB is signing off for tonight. Take care, Tom. Hope you get home safe. Thank you so much, MB. I really do appreciate that. Anna Andrews says, tell us what time you have to go and we will give you a heads up, Tom. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. Really do. Charlie Richardson says, these discussions are so interesting, sometimes you don't realize the time. Yeah, I have no idea. I said we were going to stream for an hour. 2 hours and a half later. I just really enjoy talking to everybody. So, apologize if we ran a little bit over. But Lady O from New Jersey is a good moderator of ours, and I hope you're doing well. Jaga says, Dogman says, if looking at DWAC, see what happened to CCIV, LCID, then the pipe info was released, massive dilution, massive drop. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, Dogman, I usually stay away from all these special purpose acquisition companies. I think there's a lot of frothiness in them. So any of these SPACs that are being hyped up on message boards, the majority of them are garbage with no real earnings or fundamentals. So I would just stay away from it. Hey, Luis Vasquez says, by the way, I subscribed to your channel. Thank you, Luis. Good to have you here, my friend. Moj26 is, were you going to explain annuities for Sabrina Farah and myself? Yes. Yes, I will. So an annuity is sort of like a retirement product, right? So let's say, to give you an example, some people in their retirement want to replace their income, right? They want to replace their income. So let's say you're making $50,000 a year from your job and you want to retire, but you don't want to give up that income in your retirement, right? So oftentimes people will fund annuities leading up into their retirement accounts, in which case once you hit retirement age, your annuity will pay you a certain fixed amount of money for the life of your retirement. So it's sort of like a pension you could think about, in which case your annuity, you get a set amount paid to you every single month. And I really think about, in terms of annuities or in terms of retirement plans, it really just depends on what fits your lifestyle, right? How do you want to live within retirement, right? So some people, they just say, hey, look, I don't even want to touch my principal. And principal meaning like your nest egg. They're like, I don't even care about that. The only thing I want is a check for $4,500 a month, right? Is $4,500 a month, or whatever that is. So there's different annuities that you can buy. So if you want to talk to a financial advisor or anything like that, you could set up annuities that'll pay you a fixed amount every single month into your retirement to supplement your retirement income or replace your working income. So you could think about something like Social Security, a payment. It's not an annuity, but it's sort of like the same concept. I personally don't have any annuities. I know people who do, but they tend to be very older or wealthy folks. But definitely speak to your financial advisor if you're interested in that sort of product. Gun Moed says, not FDIC is real. Anonymous Dude 123 says, appreciate your time and insights, no problem. Zap Allen says, watch what they do, not what they say. Indeed, Zap Allen, good to have you here. Michelle McGraw says, got him on my TV and Tom on my phone. Quan says, Tom, I will remind you at 4 a.m. to get on the train and stop streaming. Hilarious, Quants. Thank you for that. Robert says, what did you major in at John Jay? Criminal justice with the minor in economics. Dogman says, oh yeah, that was the warning to anyone looking at it. The one dropped 60 to 20 in a matter of minutes. Joyce says, good Sunday morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. Lady O says, I'm doing well, but don't think I'm making it to early morning mass. Call your friend to pick you up before it gets too late. Lady O, I agree. I made a stay at a buddy's house. Horatio says, Tom, you should move back to New York City, man. We love the views and you can get any job you want. I'm trying to grow my business, my own business right now, but maybe we'll see. Maybe down the road I'll come back. I am going to be back and forth, but maybe not in New York City 100% of the time. Moj26, I grew up with someone who became an electrician in Hollywood. Good union, he's done well. That's fantastic. So we're right outside of the Yale Club right here. This is where me, Lady O, and Sunshine After Rain and Sunshine New York hang out on Tuesday nights. We hang out right here. Zap Allen says, oh my God, be careful. Nicholas says, what's up? How you doing? We're doing very well. Eduardo, I love USA. My dream is to live in New York. Dude, you got to come. Nicholas says, go inside the Yale Club. Only on Tuesdays. So me, Lady O, out and about comes down sometimes here, and we hang out here. I'm just not interested, pal. Okay? Thanks. Sunshine After Rain says, please don't forget to hit the button and subscribe. Quan says, Harvard Club is better. Photos from around New York says, and Jeff Bezos. Yes, Jeff Bezos frequents here a lot. MTR says, money can't buy love. Indeed. I agree. Working several jobs is a bad idea. Health is not unlimited. Yeah, I made that mistake before. I used to work many jobs in college. Do you have to be Yale alumni to enter? I believe you do. I believe you do need to be an alumni of Yale to enter. So that is why Lady O can get me in. William says, hey Tom, what do you think about Fisher Investments? Fisher Investments is good. Good firm. So a good book, if you want to talk about Fisher Investments, a good book is Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Phil Fisher, the founder of Fisher Investments. That's probably one of the greatest books about stocks and investing ever written is Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Phil Fisher, a book mainly recommended by Warren Buffett. What soccer clubs, football clubs do you enjoy? I'm a big Napoli fan. Will your friends be awake to come get you? Please be careful. I think they're probably out partying. A lot of my friends are big partiers. I'm not a big fan of going out drinking. It's just not my thing, honestly. War Walker says, you're the man. You told that vamp to beat it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, sometimes people will come and heckle you for drugs or something like that. Troy 1995 says, I love how calm you are in any situation. Very nice salesman trait, says Troy 1995. Appreciate that. Obama says, you just got an advertisement from Fisher Investments. The YouTube algorithm is doing its work for sure. Troy 1995, nah. Nicholas says, why don't you give that guy your drugs? He asked nicely. Says Nicholas. Jake says, have you ever met anyone important or special while walking on the streets in New York? I think everybody's pretty special and important. But any celebrities? Only Jerry Seinfeld. I actually used to work right across the street from Jerry Seinfeld's garage. Gustavo says, are you on Vanderbilt? Yes, we are. So we are right outside the Grand Central Station. And yeah, Cardi B actually used to come into the Enterprise when I was a teenager. I used to actually rent her cars. And this is the Chrysler building right here. George says, good evening, Tom and everybody. Good to hear you like Napoli team. Indeed, I love Napoli. Jake Hayes says, wow, at Grand Central again, Campbell Bar. Yeah, so Campbell Bar, or the Campbell Apartments, is a phenomenal place. I actually used to take clients there. I'm not sure if it's open yet due to the pandemic. Horatio Snipes says, I saw Paris Hilton on Bryant Park last month. Wow, that's really cool, Horatio. That's awesome. So we're coming up on East 42nd Street. So everybody, just to recap, usually on the weekends we don't have a specific topic, but the topic for today was actually Wework's SPAC, Special Purpose Acquisition Company, and Marcelo Clarer was actually my old CEO. So they kicked Adam Neumann out of there. So Adam Neumann was the founder of Wework, who squandered all of SoftBank's money for the failed IPO, but now Wework actually went public via Special Purpose Acquisition Company of Boex Acquisition Corp. So if you want to learn more about that, you could feel free to watch the replay of the stream. And this is looking east, right at the foot of the One Vanderbilt building. Mr. Wobbles says Paris Hilton looks good for 45. Is Paris Hilton really 45? That's insane. I didn't know Paris Hilton was 45. Wow. John says, I would sell my island properties to live here. Sell them, man. Seller's market. We'd be more than happy to have you here in New York. Troy 1995 says, really? Didn't know that either. I had no idea Paris Hilton was 45 years old. That's crazy. I didn't know that. What's the best skate trick? So we don't do any skate tricks, but back in the day, probably just backside 180. Oh, she's 40. Okay. Hey, Jack is here. JP, what's up, JP? I mean, I didn't know Paris Hilton was 40 years old either. I thought she was like 28, 29. I thought she was like 28, 29 years old. So this is the PricewaterhouseCoopers building, PwC. Horatio Snipes says, why is New York City so quiet on Madison? Mainly because there's office buildings and nobody's working right now. So this is the PwC building. Mr. Wobbles is 40, 45, same deal. Hilarious. Daniel G says, what time is the next train, Tom? I believe the next train is at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we'll have to figure something out. We'll have to figure something out, everybody. Hey, Edson says hello from Brazil. And Daniel G is here. Daniel, good to see you. Daniel is our pal from Buenos Aires, Argentina. So I hope everything is going well in Argentina, Daniel. This is Library Way, the Steven Schwartzman building. This is a great shot of the Steven Schwartzman building. Jaga says, why don't you block me? Others block right away. Not sure what that means. Horatio Snipes is train to where? Damn, 4 a.m. I think that was the last train to Long Island. I gotta go to Long Island now. Unfortunately, we are not living at Central Park South anymore, unfortunately. Marilyn Ringo says, what was the craziest job you ever had? I took a job working at Burger King when I was 16 and was fired for 3 hours. Fast food workers was really hard. I was delivering pizzas and I was actually in the middle of a shooting, delivering pizzas. That was the craziest thing I've ever done. I was delivering pizzas and there was a shootout. Daniel G says, things are pretty fine despite inflation. So this Andaz Hotel, there's actually an Andaz Hotel on Wall Street. Very beautiful hotel, fantastic. Show F's is watching from West London, UK. Used to live in Chicago, missed the US, man. Hey, Show F, thank you for being here and hope to see you on some more live streams. Anonymous Dude 123 says 40 is the new 20. Horatio Snipes says, Tom, you are bugging respectfully, my friend. Why move out of Central Park South? So Horatio, I got a very good deal on a studio apartment. 106 Central Park South was the address. Beautiful. And I got it for like half off because of the pandemic. So I got a killer deal. But I was just getting crushed in taxes because my company is based in New York and I can't afford the taxes here anymore. So moving down to Florida, I should save about 6.85% in terms of the taxes. Then I'll save another couple points on the city tax. So the tax liability is too ridiculous. It's insanity. So moved to Florida to, take advantage of some of the tax savings there. And also a lot of my buddies who work in tech are moving to some startups that are down in the Brickell in Miami. And also some of my venture capital and private equity buddies are down there now. Robert Parker says, are you going to Long Island? You should be going to Penn Station. Yes, Robert Parker, yes indeed, we are. Nicholas says, tell us stories from when you worked in the S&P building. I never worked in the S&P building. I worked down on Wall Street, 82 Wall Street. And then my office was moved to 77 Water Street. And I believe the S&P building, it's called S&P Global, was 2 buildings down from me. on Water Street, but I never worked in the S&P building. I worked a couple buildings next to it on Water Street. Jameson says, are you going to Miami? Yes, on Monday. Two Wheel Pines is loving the long stream tonight. Been here from the start. Sorry you missed the train. No problem, Two Wheel Pines. Hey, MTR says I worked at 55 water at S&P. Hey, I was at 77. That's awesome. Jameson says New York pizza does sound good right now. Kevin says hello from Mexico. What is up, Kevin? Kevin from Mexico. Good to have you here. We are at the Steven Schwartzman building right here. Hey, Gunmoed says 59 Maiden Lane hung out. I had a good pal that worked on Maiden Lane at the DOI, Department of Investigations, I believe. Andre says, hey Tom, why Napoli is your favorite team? Your family is from Naples. My grandma is from there. Thanks so much. Yes, my family is, half my family's from there, half my ancestors. Dennis says, where is this? We are near Bryant Park. So 42nd Street to 40th Street and 5th Avenue. Show F says Chicago or New York City pizza. New York City, 100%. Thin slice is better in my opinion. Taxation is theft, no joke indeed. Lisa says, are you streaming tomorrow? Maybe. Nicholas says, are there any problems with bugs in New York City? I don't think so. Just like a lot of roaches. MTR says, Tom, you have to take us on the High Line next time. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Maybe we will do that tomorrow. But this is a beautiful library here. This is the brand new New York Public Library. And on the 5th floor, you could actually use all the Bloomberg terminals for free. So if you go to the 5th floor, you can see all the Bloomberg terminals and use them for free. AI says, Tom, all the best on your entrepreneurial pursuits. Can you tell us about your business or how you prepared yourself to take the leap to overcome any fear or doubt? Yeah, well, AI, essentially, I used to work in tech sales and I didn't spend any of my money. Like, I spent no money at all. And I saved every penny of it. So during the pandemic, I was like, you know, if there's any time to go out on your own, it's probably now. So I just took the leap of faith because I was very well capitalized. So I spent about I would say probably 5 years in tech sales. And I didn't spend any money. I didn't go out partying. I didn't go out drinking, nothing. I like literally didn't spend any money for 5 years. So I banked all the money. So I'm like, you know, let's just run with it and see what happens. And, you know, if the business folds or fails, I could always get another tech job. So, Mac914 says, Tom, please show us Christmas market at Bryant Park in December. I think they're actually setting it up right now. Daniel G says, New York City looks nice this time of night. Indeed it does. We're here on East 38th Street. Accident 158 says, what's your education background? Does your job have related to technology or not? Does your job has related in technology or not? I went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice here in Manhattan. And I majored in criminal justice with a minor in economics. And I took some forensic accounting classes. And that's it. Yeah, so if you're asking, is your question, did my major have anything to do with my career? No, it didn't. AI says, nice, that's awesome, thanks, no problem. MTR says, it looks nice there on the High Line. It sucks that people are jumping off the vessel. Yeah, that is true. It's terrible, it's really tragic. Where's the best place to get a... Sunshine After Rain says, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much. Is it a good thing your minor was in econ? Yeah, I mean, look, so I had I did very well in my economics classes, but I was constantly fighting with the professors because the majority of my professors at John Jay, especially in my economics classes, they were all like these adjunct professors that had no idea about anything about economics. So everything they were teaching, I was like, well, this is totally wrong. I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. So I would always be fighting with the teachers. But look, at the end of the day, I had a very good experience at John Jay. I have nothing negative to say. You know, I think that every college or university has its flaws, and I'm not going to talk bad about it, but you know, we had our differences, and I just didn't agree with anything really the professors were saying, honestly. But I have no complaints about John Jay at all. Zap Bounce says, oh my God, I'm really starting to like BMWs every time Tom walks past one on the street. They look so good. Lisa says, do you regret that you didn't become a police officer? No, I don't regret that. Faith says, wow, Tom, you're on late, almost midnight here in Texas. Tom was a rebel in college, says Quants. MTR says, John Jay for criminal justice forensics. Photos from around New York says, their professors, they live in their own bubble. I had some really good professors at John Jay. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I had some great professors at John Jay, but then again, you know, you have professors that you disagree with, but I think that's what college is all about, right? I think that's what college is all about at the end of the day, is, you know, having a civil disagreement with people. Faith is at the Empire State Building. Yes, we are walking towards the Empire State Building right now. Hey, Toro Spots says hello from Toronto. Hope you're well. So we are on East 36th Street right here. But everyone, next week is going to be an extremely busy week on Wall Street. We have all of the major mega cap tech stocks reporting earnings, with Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet. And the one thing we need to pay attention to in terms of earnings for Microsoft, Amazon, and Google is their cloud computing segment. So if we think about Microsoft with their Azure cloud, we have to think about Google with their Google Cloud, and Amazon with their AWS, because those, Robert Parker, we'll take that offline. I'll send you an email. We definitely have to pay attention to the cloud computing segment, because that is where I see the majority of the growth coming from over the next decade, is in cloud computing. So oftentimes people think as of Amazon as just pure play e-commerce, but I believe over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, the majority of their free cash flow generation is actually going to be generated from their cloud computing unit, which is AWS. So we're going to talk about that and more next week on the stream, as we have a big week of earnings rolling along. Daniel G says, almost 2 a.m. in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Off to bed, return to Long Island, and have a great Sunday. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. Have a phenomenal weekend. Are you gonna get an Uber? Maybe. Hey, Josie is here, says hi. Good to see you, Josie. Kevin says, do you speak any Spanish? Say a phrase. I don't really know that much Spanish, but I hope to be fluent in Spanish within a couple of years. That is one of my goals. Jaga says, interesting city, there is something to see. All in one. Oh, everybody, I think we have to go because my gimbal's battery died. So we will end it here. So I appreciate everybody joining the channel. I appreciate everybody that joined the live stream today. If we are not live tomorrow, we will definitely be live on Monday. And if you're interested, subscribe to the channel and check out the Behind the Street newsletter that I will post on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So everybody, thank you so much. Have a great night. Melee, sunshine, after rain, British gray. I hope everybody has a phenomenal remainder of their weekend. Be safe, be positive, be optimistic. And as always, I will see you in the next one. And have a good night to the mighty bull wherever you are. Because there's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. See you guys in the next one.